I just retired. Vice President, say that for beach road. It was a great club. 45 years, it started out like in the field. Back there and in that project. Two, they bought it out. And beach was full of beach. Alabama area, that region. I've got a great guy up here saying, he can speak their language, which is a different language. And so, I said, you guys. Yeah, I already got it. Keep worrying more about it.
Flaring we got now.
Oh, way out
Sitting
there.
here? Where you sitting?
I'm sitting there, when you face you, so the light is.
You, I think you possibly. Around. Yeah. I know. That's all back to your documents. Very backwards.
Actually, some park support in each chair.
Yes, there is.
You made a nice.
Yes, we do have to have an extra pen.
You betcha.
You are welcome. Yeah.
What are we gonna do with all this light? We can-
It's just.
Where you been for so long?
the wrong way.
You're better off climbing the table.
Not feeling great last meeting, but I just got back from DC.
That'll make anybody feel about that.
Thank goodness you went out there, because as you can see, you got enough Democrats kicked over the blocks.
Thing happening out there. I went out with my best friend that lives there for Halloween. It's all just a bunch of red. It's fine. The only thing that sucks is everything's closed. So after I finished my conference, it's like, really? There's another one. You can't go into anything.
That's what.
Actually, next week, but not now. I know. Wichita.
How you doing today? Thank you, how are you? The one that's non-controversial.
Yeah. We are gonna move the agenda a little bit. This one. What do you want?
Stephen Shaw.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I didn't.
Nobody had any questions.
And this one, no, I don't think so. The landowner changed, flat six, this is. It's gonna be the first item. It's from 13th Central.
All the paving.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm
Okay.
Says. Looks like a bridge.
Such a good job.
Thank you so much, Faith. Bruce gets the award for the best comments in the minutes.
That's always.
As I was gonna say, as often happens. The most.
That might be me too. Most words I see.
Probably also, I guess.
I just say, I'll direct your attention to page, let me see where they are.
Yeah.
Okay. The bottom of page 11,
Page 11.
bottom of page 11.
Yeah. Ah, hell.
Right, best comment.
That plot, third cars, I don't get. Still there. Oh. All right. Somebody shoots. Big, 4 and 5 minutes.
I feel like they're up in the. Thank you. I don't need to be on camera. Go around.
Careful of all the cords. This is a lot of cord, actually.
There's a lot of Gordon.
It is a lot of cord.
Harder form. Harder form, but it's a water bonus. Church. Like, yeah. Church.
There's plenty of seats I've used. It's like trash, right?
Yeah.
Teresa, is there anyone online?
Oops, there's one.
Tracy is, and so is John Sidwell.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. She got her hair cut.
Yeah, but is that why she's stressed? Well, that could, just came from being done, and I didn't like what I looked at.
Okay, are y'all ready?
I think so.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome. I am Becky Tuttle, and it's my privilege and honor to serve on Wichita City Council representing District 2. This is the District 2 Advisory Board meeting on Monday, November 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And I'm happy to report we are back at the Rockwell Branch Library. We were temporarily just relocated while they were having all these amazing renovations. So if you haven't had a chance, I hope you'll go look around. The big green chairs over and right before you get to the teen area, we call the huggy squishy chairs. Come grab a book. There's vending machines. Make yourself at home. We love this facility. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're gonna do is introduce all the district advisory board members. And one of the things that we like to do here is your name, the neighborhood or HOA that you represent, and your favorite thing about Wichita, and you can't repeat what someone else said. And we're gonna start with Tracy, who is joining us virtually. And Tracy, we promise to keep up with you, and if you have questions, but text me or one of the other members if we don't see that you want to make a comment, okay? But you want to start with introducing yourself?
Well, I'm Tracy, the one she was just talking to. And Tracy Adams, I represent the Harrison Park community. And my favorite thing about Wichita today is our city councilwoman, Becky Tuttle.
You're so sweet. Thank you. Who can top that? No, just kidding. Tom Baker.
Tom Baker at Pine Meadows. I love the change in weather. You could be playing golf on Friday with shorts on and the coat and gloves and a hat on Monday.
Yep, that's exactly right.
On Wynn from Woodland Lakes Estate. I love that the magic is back at River City Brewery, so excited about that.
Yeah. And the pumpkin yumpkin beer.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Faith Martin, I represent the East Ridge Neighborhood Association, and my favorite thing right now, no offense to Becky, is John Sidwell, because he was so great. November 4th, he was very helpful. I always brag about John in Boston Park, so I couldn't have told him thank you enough, but thank you publicly. He's amazing.
And he's doing this with you. Perfect. Awesome.
My name is Tim Johnson. I represent the Willow Bend neighborhood, and I'm very excited at about the three finalists that the Citizens Committee and the City Council have selected moving forward to possibly become our new city manager.
Thank you. We had our press conference at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, good. Name here is Jim Groff. I'm on the board with the Equestrian Estates Homeowners Association out at 127th Harry. Best thing I like, is I kind of keep often bringing it up a little bit, beat someone from saying the Veterans Day being tomorrow and how Wichita honors the vets. Big time. It was 1954, President Eisenhower signed the bill into law that makes Veterans Day a holiday. So it's a good thing. Kansas boy.
Yeah, and thank you for your service. One of the things that was truly one of the coolest opportunities I've had a chance to do, I agreed to help do a pinning ceremony for Vietnam veterans, welcome that back this summer in honor of the anniversary. And
Bunch of
a whole room full. It was at huge Metroplex, like a couple hundred people. And who is in my line to get pinned but Mr. Jim? So yeah, I have a great photo of us.
what you do to keep a job.
Teresa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Veazey. I'm your community services representative for District 2. And my favorite thing about Wichita today and tomorrow is that my daughter's out of school, so I get a bonus day with her. So it'll be fun.
About that.
My name is Mila Burrell. I am a homeowner in the Brickwood Village neighborhood, and my favorite thing about Wichita this time is the airport. And I know it's been mentioned before, but it's so easy and it's nice, and when you have to connect to other airports, you just truly learn to appreciate Wichita Airport.
And I always have to put in the shameless plug, we were the first airport in the nation to have the glass jetways. If you are going in or out of Wichita, take a moment, just sometimes people don't even realize we were the first. Now I think there's 2 or 3, but we've received national awards, so, yeah.
Aaron Miller, represent the Waterbury Homeowners Association. My favorite thing about Wichita tonight is how engaged the public is.
My name is Stephanie McCurdy. I represent the Hawthorne subdivision, and my favorite thing about Wichita is how robust our medical system is. My mother was diagnosed with cancer a few weeks ago and starts treatment tomorrow, and we get to do it here in Wichita. We don't have to go there, so very happy about that.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get on with the agenda. I am gonna make, I'm gonna take a point of privilege and ask if we can move CUP 2025-0036 to item number 8, right after the web agenda item.
Make that motion.
Okay, Tim with the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Faith with the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? You're welcome, Brian Lindebeck. Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from October 13th of 2025. Teresa, as always, did a fantastic job.
There was one
capturing all of our
correction,
conversations.
one correction.
Oh, one correction.
Yes, yes. Thanks to Jim Groff, the DAB meeting for tonight is not on the 20th, but it's on the 10th of November on the very last page. So
Thank you, Jim.
Proof that I read. it.
Proof that you read. Okay,
I have a question about
Yes.
that. It said that the survey, I'm trying to retrieve it, would be available and send it 7 to 10 days. You know, if that is still accurate, because that's what I'm saying.
are you talking about for the city manager? I don't think it's on there yet. I just looked right before we came. Okay, remind me and I should see if I can find out. Yeah, I looked right before we came to see if I could get any highlights to mention. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the correction. Anything else? I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October 13th of 2025
With corrections.
with correction. Thank you. Motion?
Oh, motion to approve with corrections.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll give Aaron a second. All those in favor say aye. And remember, if you weren't here, you need to abstain. So anyone opposed? Does anyone need to abstain?
Yes.
Okay, John needs to abstain. Chris wasn't here and he's not here tonight. All right, is there anyone here this evening who is for an off agenda item? So is there anyone who wants to speak to an item that isn't on tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing that, we'll continue with the agenda. Staff reports. Police, I don't see police. Teresa, did they send a report?
I did not.
Okay, we'll get a report from police and we will make sure that it gets sent to you and then included in the minutes. Captain Cox from Fire, welcome. First time here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't forget your name, your station, and your favorite thing about Wichita.
Okay. I get the part.
Those things.
Captain Cox with Wichita Fire Department. I'm actually filling in for Chief Crosby, who's one of the battalion chiefs that covers this area. He's off today, so here I am. My favorite thing about Wichita is I grew up in Derby, and all the time I grew up in Derby, I lived in Wichita as the big city. And so I've been on the department now for 25 years, and I love being part of that big city now, which is what I'm thankful.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Couple things to go with you guys real quick. There's been one notable fire last month. It was on September 26th, and it was in the 1000 block of South Burr Street. It was a house fire with reported people trapped. Crews got on scene. They found a female victim in the basement bedroom, moved her. What's significant about this fire is when our investigators got on scene, they determined that the fire was intentionally set, and the female victim that they actually pulled out of the house was arrested for starting the fire. So that's the only notable fire that's in District 2 last month. The other thing I'll add is with Thanksgiving coming up, obviously cooking is a big issue for us. We have a lot of fires and burn injuries, especially with turkey fryers. Again, just remind everybody, if we do use a turkey fryer, keep it off of your deck. And also, we have a lot of times where people the turkeys in the garages. Again, we have a lot of problems with the garage starts on fire, the deck starts on fire. We remind everybody every year, and it usually happens, something to be made, so. That's the only things I have for you guys, any questions?
I was going through the grocery yesterday and I saw the big display of gallons of peanut oil for turkeys and I thought, oh gosh, no.
Yep.
So I gotta be careful. Any questions?
Just a comment, make sure you defrost them first or they will explode.
Sounds like experience.
Very
All right, Captain Cox, thank you. Come back anytime. You're always welcome. Thank you for your service. Be safe. Next, John Sidwell. Our friend John is joining us virtually for Park and Recreation report.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. John Sidwell, Recreation Supervisor out at the Boston Recreation Center facility. My favorite thing right now, I would say, since it's a cold season for like fire, police, snow removal, street maintenance, all the public works, forestry, all the guys that have to and ladies that have to work out in the cold. I'm grateful it's them instead of me. But I appreciate their service and willingness to do that. So I'm very grateful for that. I start off with aquatics. We met with Public Works to go over the pool and splash pad maintenance needs. We also ordered 54 new Chase lounges to distribute to 3 pools that are in need for some new lounges. And then it's also that time of year. We're coming up to winter break for kids out of school, and if they need a place to stay over during the day, Boston Rec Center will be offering a messy science camp, a junior chef, Lego Mania, Twisted Sports, Wonka Chocolate Factory, and Nerf Wars. And it's available for sign up either over phone or you can do it online. And Boston's not the only location. A lot of our locations will be offering winter break camps, but mine are just going to be offering those theme-oriented camps. And then we had a bunch in the month of October, Halloween events that went on. We held our candy crawl event over at Colvin Elementary in Plainview Park on the 17th of October, and we had about 1,300 people in attendance. And we had a bunch of patrons that were dressed up in their scariest costumes. And we had a great evening full of music with the live DJ, activities with vendors, and of course, tons of candy. And then out at the Evergreen Rec Center, they hosted their annual fall festival, drawing a crowd of about 1,200 attendees. That event was held in partnership with Hope for the Hood Church, and it featured a variety of activities for the family, including a vendor trick-or-treating, a cakewalk, a fall-themed craft project for the kids, and then Funky Monkey Munchies food truck generously provided us 1,000 free hot dogs and chips to guests throughout the evening. And currently also Evergreen is undergoing a roof replacement project, which should be close to completion. And then after that, Boston Rec Center should be on that next list for that CIP improvement. But as you know, with CIP money, it can get moved around in case of an emergency. So fingers crossed that Boston gets that. And then out at the Great Plains Nature Center, this year's Kids Can event was a great success. It was 2 days of outdoor learning, exploration, and fun for hundreds of 5th grade students. And it brought together about 423 students and 43 adults from across South Central Kansas. And they got to experience a lot of hands-on environmental education. The students had an opportunity to participate in a variety of hands-on activities, like going on a nature hike, practicing archery, learning about weather and water, making seed balls and discussing bird beak adaptations, exploring biomagnification, pretending to be migrating geese in a migration game, and studying resources competition among trees. And all that was possible through partner collaborations between Kansas Water Office, National Weather Service, Pheasants Forever, Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks, City of Wichita, WSU Environmental Finance Center, Kansas Forest Service, and Friends of the Great Plains Nature Center, and the Kiwanis Club. And then Linwood also hosted their annual Halloween party. They had a crowd of about 665 kids, and parents attended, which they provided carnival games, candy, Halloween trinkets, cookies, caramel apples, and a haunted room called the Linwood Lair, which was full of ghosts, witches, and creepy clowns. And then off in Napster Park, we hosted the Paws and Popcorn at Napster Park. We started off showing the secret life of pets, and popcorn was provided to those that attended in the park. And then we also had the food truck Carne Asada Jalisco. They were serving up some great eats, and plenty of dogs came out in abundance with about 100 people in attendance. Then also at Napster, we have our Sunday Fun Day event that we held, had about 500 people in attendance. This is our third year offering the event. People get to enjoy food, games, balloon animals, face painting, and they created an intergenerational art table creating messages of hope. There were also emergency vehicles for the kids to explore and learn about while they were there at the event. And then right now, we have our city crew event planning that we're going through for the year of 2026. We're still in the planning stages. For those who don't know what the city crew is, it's for kids ages 2 to 12, and it's free for them to sign up for. We offer an event every other month that's basically VIP to those who sign up for free. And you can do that through the city webpage. Online or through the mobile app if you have the mobile app, Wichita Park and Rec mobile app. And then we're also gearing up for upcoming the Watson Christmas Express that's held at Watson late November and into December. So you can always sign up on the website as well for that, or through the mobile app as well. But that I guess the final off, Lynette Woodard Recreation Center. Now that Angela has taken over a superintendent role, we put out an offer to a guy who worked at the YMCA. His name's Ryan Littlejohn, and he's set to be the next recreation supervisor at Lynette Woodard, and his expected start date is to be November 24th. And that's all I have.
Any questions for John? Thank you, John. Appreciate it. And super excited to see so many people who are engaged in the Halloween activities at Fun Day at Napster Park. So many cool things. I always say if somebody says there's more, which come sit next to me and we'll give you the Evolve, which don't worry. We'll give you the Evolve magazine or go online and see everything that you can do low cost, no cost that the city offers. So thank you, John. Appreciate you. Hi. Okay, now we have, hello, how are you? The other John for the library report. And super glad to be here and back in our home, our adopted home. Would you mind maybe 30 seconds of the renovations here, some of the highlights, the amount spent, what you're most excited about, drive-up window? Yeah, okay. Name and favorite thing about Wichita.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is John Clary. I'm the manager here at the Rockville Branch Library. I want to welcome you all back, especially the DAB2 members and all of you back to our beautifully renovated library building here. Some of the amenities we have now are the electric fireplace, which is not only have the heat and flames and the low and colds, but also functional heat. So it has a 750 watt and 1500 watt heater. So to make it nice and cozy in our living room area right as you walk in. We also have a drive-up window where you can pick up holds. We have a drive-up area where you can drop off your returns now. So we have a brand new driveway on the east side of the building here. To take care of your library services and needs without getting out of your vehicle. We certainly welcome you inside. We've added approximately 7,000 square feet to the building. We have expanded our brand new teen area and expanded the children's area. Expanded this meeting room, almost double in size. We've upgraded all of our electrical and tech and AC, so new paint, new carpet, new lighting, LED, it's brighter in here, so we're really excited about all of the new library features that we have. We have new shelving, so everything is basically brand new that you see, so we're looking forward to welcoming you all back. I'll be letting you know on our report, but this Saturday we'll be doing our grand reopening. So we've got some special things that we're going to be doing on Saturday. So my favorite thing about Wichita right now is the Rockwell Branch Library.
As it should be.
Yes. I do want to give a side plug though to the Central County Election Office that made voting a breeze this last Tuesday. So they did a fantastic job.
Thank you. Share that with them.
Okay, and here's what's happening in November here at the Wichita Public Library. So the library joins libraries across the state this November for Kansas Reads Preschoolers. And this is a program that creates young readers through early learning activities and sharing a common book to read. This year's featured book is Little Nita's Big Idea. The author is Anna W. Artis, and it's illustrated by Carolina Ferris. This story reminds both little ones and adults to value community, embrace our differences, and connect through fresh, healthy food. Join us in participating this month by either picking up a free copy of the book at any library location and reading on your own time as a family, or by attending any of the several events and story times selected around the selected reading. And for more information and a whole list of Kansas Reads Preschoolers events, please visit our website, wichitalibrary.org/pre-K. The Rockwell Branch Library celebrates its next chapter after recently completing our remodeling project that expanded our overall footprint and modernized this location. The grand reopening festivities will begin at 9:45 a.m. this Saturday, November 15th, with opening remarks and a ribbon cutting ceremony, and will be followed with several family-friendly activities running until around noon. You can relax by playing with a therapy dog. You can create your own custom bookmark with our tri-cut cutting machine. You can practice safe riding with Bike Walk Wichita, or take in the sounds of the unforgettable Wichita Symphony performance will be happening. So we invite you all here on Saturday, beginning at 9:45. Beginning November 17th, parents and caregivers with children 12 to 36 months old can attend the Parent-Child Workshop. This 5-week series takes place at 10:30 a.m. on Mondays at the Advanced Learning Library through December 15th. And it features weekly play sessions attended by community resource specialists who are available to answer questions about your child's development in a barrier-free and low-stress environment. Discuss literacy levels, speech and hearing skills, nutrition, and other developmental areas over fun art activities and the opportunity to meet new friends. Space is limited and registration is required, so please visit wichitalibrary.org/events, or you can call our library at 316-261-8516 to register for this workshop series. In honor of election season, the Advanced Learning Library will host a history titled Who Can Vote? A History of Voting Rights in the U.S. And that begins on November 18th. Produced by the Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History, this exhibit examines voting rights, emphasizing the role of the U.S. Constitution and the interplay between the states and federal government in determining who is allowed to vote. Topics include voting as a constitutional right, women's suffrage, Reconstruction and Jim Crow era voting rights, the civil rights movement, and the enfranchisement of indigenous peoples. Lastly, the library would like to remind the public that the meeting room facilities policy will be changing in January of 2026. Organizations and nonprofits engaged in educational, intellectual, advocacy, civic, charitable, or religious activities will be available to reserve for free so long as the group and activities involved support the library's strategic goal to be a community hub for learning and engagement. As a result, meeting rooms will no longer be available to reserve for commercial purposes or private individual use. Beginning November 17th, a week from today, meeting rooms will be available to reserve for dates in 2026, with the new policy applying to any reservations made for the upcoming year. And for more information about the new meeting room policy and how to reserve a room for your group in 2026, visit the library's website at wichitalibrary.org/services/pages/meeting rooms. And that's all I have for you this evening. I can answer any questions anybody has.
Any questions for John?
Two. The first one is the history exhibit. When is that over? You said it starts November 18th. When does that go till?
November 18th, and that will run through, it's like 1 month, so December 18th.
Is that in like a meeting room or is it just?
It's going to be set up in the research pavilion and the advanced learning library. So part of their history exhibit area there.
And then on the meeting room policy, I know where this can go to get it, but you're not talking about like the little rooms in the middle.
No, this is for the large meeting rooms. So this room, for example, and all of the larger size meeting rooms. We, in addition to these larger size meeting rooms, we also have what are called collaboration rooms. These are small rooms, roughly 6 people to 10 people. We've got 3 rooms here in our adult section. We've got 7 of them down at the advanced learning library, and all of our regional libraries have collaboration rooms. Those can be rented free of charge with a library card 1 week in advance for 2 hours a day. So if you need a quiet place to study or get away from it all, or you want to meet a small group and collaborate, they're available. They're called collaboration rooms. Also available, you can reserve those on our library website under meeting rooms. Question.
Great job as always, John. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
We're back home. Thank you. All right. So first, we're gonna go to new business, but I want to say thank you to everyone who's come this evening. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate you that you care. Just to let you know a little bit about how this is gonna happen. This is an actual item that we will be voting on. So we will follow decorum. So we're gonna ask Ahmad from Public Works and Utilities to come forward, and he's gonna do the staff presentation. And I want to give a shout out to Steve Dagenhart. Thank you, Steve, for being here as well and for answering all my questions prior to getting to this point. Ahmad will give his presentation and then we'll ask the district advisory board members if they have any questions. And then after we're done with our questions, then we'll open it up to the community. And if they have any questions or if they want to, I think we'll go with questions first, if that's okay from the community. And then if anybody wants to make any statements, we allow people to speak for up to 3 minutes. And then we'll bring it back to the district advisory board and then we'll take an actual vote. Does that sound good to you, Ahmad?
Perfect.
Okay, you got the microphone? And Steve, you jump in anytime you want to, okay? Okay, thank you.
He's got it though.
He's got it. You're gonna be great.
Thank you so much.
Is this your first presentation for the city, right?
Yes.
All right, we'll be nice. You're gonna be great.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming and thank you for having the time. Working here.
Yep. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks for having me here. My name is Ahmad. I'm the CIP engineer for the city of Wichita. I will be presenting the virtual improvements and from Central to 13. And this presentation
we're gonna talk about the existing conditions of the road, the improvements, and then we're gonna have time for questions. I'm gonna try to answer all your questions. And also, we will get your feedback. All right, we'll talk about the background of this project. So every year we have a certain number of projects that we take it to council, city council to be approved to start working on it from the next year. And one of them was Web Road. From Central Avenue to 13th Street. And that got accepted or approved on October 8th, 2024. After that, we jumped to choose the consultants. So on April 8th, 2025, we choose PEC to be our consultant to provide the design for this project. I'll start talking about the project limits. We'll start from Central and Web intersection all the way to 13th and Web. Here we have the existing conditions. Right now with Web Road, it's only 4-lane road. And here we can see that there is a right turn lane that served the All-Star Sports. On the left, on the west side of this road, you can see that there is no sidewalk on that side, and that's going to be part of our project. The existing sidewalk right now, it starts from Central all the way to Neha School and end up here on the pedestrian crossing. And then there's a gap, we can talk about it. This gap ends up here on the collegiate school entrance, and then continues till 13. On the other side, the east side, we have the sidewalk start from Central all the way to All-Star, then it stopped here. That's the video. Okay. All right, here's the design concept. Here's what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do, the main thing, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna convert this road from 4-lane to 5-lane with a central, with the turn lane, also we will have some upgrade on the signals on the intersections and the ADA ramps. Also we're gonna build or fill the gaps of the sidewalks on each side. We will have a 6-foot sidewalk on each side. Also, we have this pedestrian crossing that we're gonna upgrade. We're still on the analysis and we're studying the numbers to decide what is the best option, or what are we gonna do with this as pedestrian crossing. Here, I got a lot of questions about the sidewalk. Here we start, the sidewalk start again from Neha School all the way to Collegiate. And you can see the fence here and we took a little bit of trees on the west side. Here you get back to 4-lane road all the way to Collegiate. Here's the Collegiate entrance. Here's the Collegiate entrance here, where you can see that we added a left turn to make sure that the flow of the traffic stays smooth. Same. All right. Funding. So we already got approved for $750,000 for this project. There's another 750 in 2026, 5 million 2027, and 2.3 in 2028. It's end up with 8.8, the total for the budget. This project is funded by LST local sales tax. Next step, we're gonna take this concept design to City Council on December 16, 2025. Construction will start the beginning of 2028 and it's gonna complete in 2029. Recommended action is approve the design concept. And any questions?
Thank you very much. Great job. Sorry, I had to step away. We are gonna entertain any questions from the district advisory board members.
So you talked about the pedestrian crossing at the light and how you're gonna make that ADA, and that's a pretty lengthy intersection. Is the crosswalk going to be long enough for small children or to be able to cross without it turning red in the middle of them crossing?
Okay.
Some of the lights are
So
pretty short.
the crossing is there right now. The crosswalk, I mean, sorry, the pedestrian crossing, it's there. But we're trying to improve and probably put push button for that.
Okay.
But we're still in the studying state. We don't know exactly what we're gonna do.
And then the other crossing that just those lines on the.
Yeah,
road.
that's the only one we're talking about.
Oh, I was talking about the one that was at Central across.
Oh, that's Central?
Yeah.
All right.
So right now it's short, it's hard to cross, you can't get across before it turns red, that's what I was asking about.
We just make sure that.
We can take a look at that. I'm Steve Dagenhart, Assistant City Engineer, so the times that are set to allow pedestrians enough time to cross the road, that's typically, yes, that is set by an average speed, average walking speed or whatnot to get across. So it sounds like it's something we ought to take a look at right now even. To add on to what Ahmad said about the improvements at the intersection. So both at Central and 13, we're gonna make some upgrades and enhancements to the signal itself for signal operation, but we're also gonna make some modifications to the crosswalks, the angles that the wheelchair ramps are at each corner. I think some of those intersections as they exist kind of are just dump the pedestrian out into the intersection at a 45. We're gonna look at putting 2 ramps in at corners that'll make it, one, it'll make a lot shorter distance than for folks to travel across. As well as again, making upgrades to the push buttons and all around just signal operation there. In regards to the pedestrian signal there, near Minnehaha School, to what Ahmad was saying, we're evaluating how many times that signal is activated with push button counter. So we not only capture how much the school is using it, but also perhaps how many other people are using it in off-peak hours and whatnot. So that way we can make sure that that signal is in the right location for where it needs to be used. And yes, as part of that too, the time it will take to get across the intersection is a factor of average walking speed and the distance someone has to cover.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like we have the video. Can you hold your question?
Sure.
just for a second?
Question.
Hold 1 sec, Jen. They got the video to work. So if you can just have 1 sec. Thank you so much.
It is a couple minute long video, but. So yes, primarily as Ahmad said, 5 lanes really throughout the whole corridor. 6-foot sidewalk on both sides, again, to what he showed, will help connect the gap that exists between Minnehaha School and Collegiate School, as well as extend and really all the way up to 13th Street, but then also on the east side there, it'll connect where what used to be All Star Sports will connect all the way north to 13th Street as well, so. I think a couple questions have been asked about the fences along that west side. Part of the reason why this roadway narrows back down 4 lane is kind of twofold. One has to do with the drainage in that area and the requirements that we have to not cause any increase in any stormwater runoff with adding the sidewalk to this roadway. So
Is it an actual floodway?
and it is an actual floodway there along the west side of Webb Road. So we have requirements that we have to fall within to construct it that way. And in order to add that sidewalk, then that's why we're gonna keep it as a 4-lane roadway, so we don't impact the fence along that west side as much. So
Once we get past that floodway area again, open it back to the 5-lane section there. All the way up to 13th Street. Yeah, so.
Thank you. Tim and then John.
I originally had two questions, but your video answered one of them, and that was that I thought that perhaps that right turn lane northbound into the old All-Star Sports was going away, and I see in this rendering it stays. But the second, so yeah, you're at 6 lanes for that short period. My second question was, did you look at southbound turn lane, turning needs, southbound right turning needs onto Collegiate? I'm not familiar with what drive time is for Collegiate and the loads that are created at those two entrances. I know you've got a left turn lane there now, but is there any possible need to add a right turn lane for the southbound traffic into Collegiate? Yes.
So DEC, our design consultant, looked at that, and I might take a quick moment to introduce two members from DEC with us. Tim Azure is one of the traffic experts, and Luke Peter as well is in the fact that is working on designing this project, but I think he's got the answer to your question.
I was in the back, just want to make sure you were asking about right turn lane into Collegiate.
Southbound
Off of the
into Collegiate, maybe a right turn lane in and a merge lane out. Of that, so there are two entrances, I believe, at Collegiate.
Yeah,
We can just go to the next slide on PowerPoint.
we're only talking about Web Road. We're not doing anything on 13.
I'm talking about the entrances to Collegiate off Web Road.
I think
There's one.
There's just one. The other one's
Just
something
one,
else.
yeah.
And for the counts that we saw for that did not meet.
You're good. Okay.
Now, we are adding a left and we're making that left as long as we can. But we're also balancing the traffic volume going in, using that left with
to the
floodplain fill, and every foot we add floodplain fill in the middle is more we have to offset somewhere else in the floodplain. So we're trying to keep that as small as we can, but also still cover the adequate needs of Collegiate.
Thank you.
Yeah, great, John.
Have you guys considered putting a stoplight at the Collegiate entrance? We've had at least 3 accidents that I'm aware of this year and near misses. I serve on the Collegiate Risk and Safety Committee, and it's always a topic of concern, and the increased access and traffic's going to continue to increase, so.
Sure, so I
And
know we.
Steve, can I just make one quick comment? Before Steve gives an outstanding answer. Nathan Washer, who's here, Mr. Washer's the head of school for Collegiate, and Paul Gunzelman, the city engineer. And I had a meeting 6 weeks ago, I think, to talk about this very topic. So Steve, do you want to fill in then from there?
Yes, that's Councilmember Tuttle hit on exactly. Yeah, so the city and the school have been in contact. We understand the traffic analysis has been done. We're still reviewing that a little bit further or whatnot, but if there were any improvements or whatnot that would be warranted or part of this project or whatnot, there would certainly be plenty of time to make that work. But yeah, it's still being evaluated.
Thank you.
Yep, of course. Any other questions?
Yeah, we just need to continue that discussion from that meeting that happened earlier.
Any other questions from District Advisory Board? We will open it up to questions from the audience. If you have a question, and then if anybody has any comments, but first, see if we can help get all the questions in. Okay, yes, sir, please. And so what we're gonna ask you to do is come way up here. And if you will, we always tell people use your outside voice, but we do have a microphone. Yes, and if you can please state your name and your address of your preference for the record. So you can give your home address or if you want to give Collegiate, but we need to have your name and an address on record.
Nathan Washer, I'm the head of school at Wichita Collegiate. Wichita Collegiate has 2 addresses, but this one will be 1441 North Web Road. Actually, my question is, would help with funding a light help expedite the process? I couldn't think of an easier fundraiser for me right now. Than raising money for a traffic light. That's my question, I guess.
Sure.
You would answer. I can answer, but you'll do better.
Yeah, so, yes, anytime a traffic signal serves a private drive, there's usually a commitment from the property owner of that private drive to commit towards the signal, so, that doesn't always mean that it's a part of it. So, we've had sometimes people say, hey, I will gladly pay for, 100% for a signal. But if it's not warranted, it can actually cause some adverse effects. So we want to make sure first and foremost that, hey, we have the right conditions out here that justify putting the signal in, one, but then yes, two, to your point, yeah, there would.
But, well, I understand, I just was hoping, I was going on record to say that if anything that would help with that.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you, yes, very much.
And I would like to add, and thank you so much, Mr. Washer, for being here. When we had our meeting, we talked about the signal light isn't just going to be the panacea, right?
Right.
Because some of the accidents that have happened is because people leaving Collegiate aren't looking and they're going southbound and they get hit. Well, you can turn right on red, right? So, yes, so I think this is gonna be a great partnership with what the city can do for the improvements. But then we talked about education at Collegiate for your
I know
students
we're
and
looking
families.
at other options.
Yep.
Than slowing down the traffic.
Yeah, what can we do for traffic calming, right? All the things. And then we have to be cognizant at the city, and always tell me, Maud, and see when I'm wrong. This is, for Collegiate, super important. I couldn't agree more, but it's 2 times a day during 10 months of the year. And we have to think about this piece of infrastructure 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So making sure that it is warranted before we proceed. Great question. Yes. And for the record, Bruce has joined us. Bruce, thank you so much.
Bruce Gass, representing the Chisholm Creek HOA. And just so I don't forget, I was actually planning on saying this, whoever maintains the traffic lights in the city, I want to commend them. It's very rare that there's a broken traffic light. And say, for instance, at Rock Road and Kellogg, I think there's 32 traffic lights at that one intersection. So I want to commend whoever the contractor is or the city employees. That's my what I love best about Wichita. My question is, what actually would you have to do related to that floodplain if you kept that middle turn lane all the way, start to finish?
So the road itself is overtopped by floodway, not just floodplain. So it is designed to overtop at the same level that it does now. We've started to file quarter.
The water would come over the road.
The water goes over the top of the road in a 100-year event, yes. We maintain that elevation, so it will overtop at the same elevation. We're also minimizing the amount of fill that we can place in the floodplain. So the road stays the same, but if we add sidewalk on either side of it, that's essentially creating fill inside the floodway that we have to offset somewhere else inside that floodway so that that remains the same drainage pattern within a foot of when we started. To add the sidewalk, we've got to do some other things in that area to make sure that that elevation stays the same. We've already been through the Corps of Engineers and they've determined, yes, we have a no rise through that. But to add a center left turn lane through there, that would require even more offset drainage in that floodway. And if you look at that area, there's a couple drives for Murphin on one side and a fence with no driveways on the other. And a left turn lane in the middle doesn't do you any good from All-Star Sports to Cleveland.
I see.
So that's why we've eliminated.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions from the audience? Okay, seeing none, does anyone want to make any comments? If you do, you are welcome to come to the podium. Just state your name and your address for the record. Does anybody have comments?
One question.
Yeah, okay, please come up, please.
Jerry Thomas, 9423 Cross Creek.
Did you get that
in the
first
Lake Point area? We backed up to the fence in the area that we were just speaking about. Everybody remembers the flood that we had back in June. That was horrendous. I can't tell you the distance between Webb Road in the back of my house, but it's quite deep and it's quite wide. The water, I had to have sandbags in for my daylight window or for my view out windows in the basement to keep the water from coming in. So my entire backyard was actually beachfront property. My big concern, and I think as well as the neighbors that are with us that go in that area between All-Star Sports and Collegiate, is what will happen with the drainage. My first point is, we said to add the sidewalk, to fill in the sidewalk, that would cause more flooding, so you have to do something else, according to what you said. There's nowhere to go, so I think maybe you could consider not having the sidewalk on the west side. There's nowhere to go. It's all fenced, so there's nowhere to go there. And if there's a fence on the other side and a walkway, I think, or a sidewalk on the other side and a walkway, I think that could possibly work. It's my understanding also that the All-Star Sports area is doing, a company called Mammoth Clubhouse is coming in and doing a big golf thing similar to Top Golf on half of the property, and I don't think the other half of the property has officially been sold yet. I know that they're adding that one of the things that they want to add is a whole street and a cul-de-sac and lots of houses or apartments or something. I know they're not over 2-story, but it goes down to the east. So we're gonna have streets, more concrete, more concrete, more concrete. And that neighborhood can't take it. I mean, we just cannot take the additional runoff from more concrete. So is there anything we can do to avoid any of that?
Steve, Ahmad, PEC, who wants to address them?
So I might, as part of the development application and whatnot, that they are required by the city's stormwater regulations that any additional runoff that is generated versus what's there now, they have to detain that on their property before it's released to go downstream. So there's some regulations they have to follow as part of that development work. In terms of I don't know if you guys know kind of what we're doing to any offset in terms of the sidewalk or whatnot.
Well, we're offsetting it within that same area where the floodway is, so that's the only place that we can.
So, yeah, as part of the permitting regulations that Tim was talking about, right? This project cannot, as any project, when you're working in around the floodplain or whatnot, you cannot create a rise and cause the water level to rise anymore. So what they're doing with the design with the sidewalk on the adding the sidewalk, there's some offset there to make sure that the after condition does not raise the water up any higher than how it exists today.
Do we have to have that sidewalk?
Yeah.
I mean, is that necessary? I mean, literally, the same point that we were making for the center turn lane is the same point for sidewalk. No, I mean, I'd be interested to see if there was any studies or available studies that would show what kind of foot traffic goes along there. Because there's really nowhere to go. It's just, it's fenced on the west and it's field on the right.
Correct. So the part here is to make better connectivity, more walkability and such to get from the south end of the project and up to 13th Street on both sides of the road.
Question is, who's gonna walk? Who's gonna walk if there's nowhere to walk? There's nowhere to go. Unless you're driving from Central to University, there's not a pedestrian flow of traffic to go anywhere unless you're going from Minnehaha to Collegiate, which the two schools, function together. So sidewalk on both sides of the avenue. And with the flooding that we have on the Cross Creek side, it's ridiculous. It was the river. If I would have flooded my car leaving from my house to her house, the water on the east, on the inside, not just the outside of Webb Road, but on the inside of Cross Creek was underwater as well. So if you want to add more concrete and make us flood more, please just don't put it on our side of the street. There's no pedestrian traffic that
Well,
walks along that. road.
So it is about looking at the bigger picture than just, hey, between the two local points there in terms of Minot School and Collegiate School. It's about making the area more walkable and to get from, again, all the way from Central up to 13. And to your point, yes, it's not walkable right now because there is no sidewalk right now. On either side, so people cannot walk anywhere, but I know it's a goal. I know it's a goal to make the whole city more walkable, and this is actually something we hear about was. Citizens elsewhere asking, hey, we need more sidewalk, we need more places to be able to walk, such, that's what we hear a lot at public meetings, so.
So when they added the waterfront up there at 13th and Webb, it dramatically increased. Even though, yes, they have to get permits, they have to say where their water's gonna go, it dramatically increased the water that came through our backyards. So I'm very concerned that what they do at All-Star Sports, even though they have to again get that permit, I'm very concerned that that will increase that amount of water. And, you know, I don't even know that I can insure against that. So that's all comment, question.
Anyone else have a comment? Amon, did you want to, somebody want to respond to that?
Yeah, the reason why we converting this from 4 to 5 is the same reason why we building the sidewalks. Right now, probably there's not enough people that are gonna use these sidewalks. But we're looking at the future in 10 years, probably there's gonna be developments on the east. So that's what we're looking for. It's not only for 2025 or 2026. We're talking about probably 5 to 10 years from now, there's gonna be an increase for sure for people and for cars that you're gonna use Webroad. That's my thought.
And I can tell you, I had quite a few meetings after the June 4th flood with different District 2 had more flooding than anywhere else in the entire city. And just as a side note, it was a 500-year rain and the ground was already completely saturated. It probably, you know, very unlikely will happen again, but we need to prepare for that. I think I've said it in this meeting, on June 4th, we had 77 car submersions that the fire department had to respond to. I mean, you don't think in Wichita, Kansas, 77 cars are gonna be underwater. So it was a very, very traumatic and unique situation, but Steve and, I'm sorry, remind me, Tim and Ahmad, we will take, especially because it's a floodway, we have to take all of this into account. Can we make a commitment to that to the residents for sure? Yeah, and not only because it's the right thing to do, but we are required by law because of being in a floodway.
And it's not just me, it's also the Corps of Engineers.
It's the Corps of Engineers, yeah.
Yeah, federal, state levels require that.
Yeah, so we hear you and we will keep that in account. Stephanie, and then I see another, yes.
I asked them about, I really don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I asked them about how far out the floodplain goes and he's unsure, and I don't have a map in front of me. Are you guys required to have flood insurance on your property?
We're out of the floodplain, we are not.
None of you are in the floodplain, and there was nobody that has spoke before that has a letter of map amendment to your property?
Don't have to have flood insurance, my understanding, you don't have to do it.
I'm sorry, say that again.
You don't have to.
If you don't have, yeah, but
We were, our backyard, a portion, like 3% of our backyard is in floodplain.
uh-huh.
And I managed to get it removed. Because I didn't want to have to buy flood insurance. When we had a mortgage.
Well, if you have flood insurance right now, it's not, I mean, it's not even happening because it's controlled by the federal government, but, so you did have it at one point.
We had it when we purchased it, there was, so it's a big square of property. The one that was closest to Webb Road up on the corner was barely in the floodplain. We called them and said, are you certain that this requires flood insurance? And they said, no, we are amending the map and no longer is this going to be a problem.
So, yeah, to that point, these improvements cannot cause your property to go back into the floodplain or.
Okay.
So that's, I don't know if that helps answer the question better. Thank you for talking us through it that way.
Flood insurance, it really doesn't, you know.
I don't need it. My name is Kendra Mahan. I'm at 9443 East Cross Creek. And I guess my big concern and what we were talking about is how are you going to address the flood? What are you going to do about drainage? The back of our property, we are a floodway. We are the first house on the south part of that. So us and then 3 houses north of us are the floodway. What drainage are you guys going to correct if you do add all of this concrete to alleviate this? Our house, and let me just also preface, our house, if you drive on Webb Road, we've had to add those rods to allow for water from one of the spill offs.
So, we're evaluating the existing system, and its capacity and whatnot. But again, we're not gonna change the characteristics. In terms of like removing people from a floodway or a floodplain, we can't do that either, because that just, all that would mean is just opening up the gates and letting it go downstream further and putting someone else's property in that way. We're not allowed to do that on the inside either. So, but the project and all the improvements, the extra sidewalk width, the sizing of the storm sewer, which I believe has quite been done just yet. It's
Across the main box.
just a pipe along the corridor.
Yeah, and it'll dump in just like this.
It'll dump in just like it does now. So, and in reality, adding the one extra light, even the sidewalk through that area doesn't increase the amount of runoff significantly, like what we might think.
Right, so if you're gonna be doing this street, are you going to address, because I think that's a big concern for us, is the drainage. It's not just the street, but what we're receiving going over the street, over the concrete and asphalt, and feeding into our properties. I mean, we can show you video if you need video.
Right, no, there's gonna be little increase in the street, in and of itself, and we're not doing anything either upstream that's gonna help retain or hold anything back from what crosses Webb Road as it is now. So again, that's back to the requirements that we have at both state and federal level, is that we cannot raise anything here to change that. And obviously trying to even lower it would likely mean raising it downstream somewhere else. So everything we're doing with balance. The improvements we're adding while not increasing that level, that water level.
Steve, I see in the staff analysis, the reconstruction of, 5-lane and curb and gutter, and it also talks about underground storm sewer being reconstructed. Would any of those modifications help this situation at all? I'm not an engineer. I don't know. I'm just asking.
The whole system has to be analyzed as part of that core permit, and it all is under the same requirement that has to be released at the same rate as it was prior to construction. So not only the overtopping, but also the system itself that we construct has to release at the same rate that it was before.
So I'm gonna ask a question that I don't know the answer to. Is there any chance that this could actually make it better by looking at the whole system now? Maybe?
I think we're legally required not to make it better or worse.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies. Yeah, sir, yes. Can you please come to the podium and your name and your address for the record? And we are gonna start timing. We had more questions, but now that we're probably going into more comments, so you have 3 minutes.
Okay, I can take sure. This Mahan at 9443 East Cross Street. And my favorite thing about Wichita is there's less traffic than Chicago and Dallas. Complain about roads here. So Steve, you said that you're evaluating, and maybe this is a process question. How can you evaluate and present to this committee to approve on something to take to another committee? It's like, I just don't understand why the full evaluation is not done yet.
So I can answer that. So tonight, this will go to council, and Steve, correct me when I'm wrong, this will go to council on December 16th, but this is the first step to initiate the process. If this isn't initiated for it to be even evaluated, money can't get released, staff time can't be released. This isn't saying that the project's done as presented. This is the first step for it to begin the process.
Okay, correct. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep.
Much better. It is concept level on this, so there's a tremendous amount of work over the next 2 years, really, for PEC to go through and set final elevation, set final drainage pipe sizing, set final, everything on this project. What you're seeing here now is to the extent really of the work that's been done thus far. Again, they've confirmed through some quick analysis of that floodplain modeling and the what we call hydraulics analysis. They've done enough to know that, hey, the concept as presented will not create a rise. There's still, yes, 2 years worth of work, but they've got to go through and finalizing the design. And so that is why we can take some of the comments, some of the feedback, and further evaluation, incorporate more things into it as the process goes on.
And just so you know, when we get to the point where we will take action, the recommended action, in case anybody forgot, is approve the proposed design concept. It's a formality that means now staff, we agree, and then it'll go to council on December 16th. The district advisory board agrees, the council agrees, go forth and look. And this is based on traffic counts. This is based on, I get more complaints about not having sidewalks from Webb to Central than you could imagine. Of people want to be able to walk in that corridor, but we won't do anything to be more destructive than it is. Probably not the best word, but yes, Tim.
I'm seeking clarity. Please correct me if what I'm about to say is wrong. One, there will be increased runoff. There's more impermeable area. That's their concern. Two, you're required by law and including the city's own ordinances to not increase the rate of runoff.
Correct.
So the ditches and the channels going through your yard, what they're saying is the water ain't gonna get any higher. What I'm saying, and they'll correct me if I'm wrong, is the water's gonna flow past your house for a longer period of time, but it won't get higher. Am I more or less on track there? There's more water, there's more volume that's gotta go off, but you can't increase the volume within a given hour.
Yeah, we're
right.
starting to get into a world of drainage analysis that I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not a drainage expert in the sense of understanding, right? I understand some of the terms that you're referring to or whatnot. Yes, when they're evaluating a flow rate and you can't increase the amount of flow rate, that's a volume over the time.
Right,
Goes into the details on that and how that works. I wish I could answer for you better.
I'm trying that, the clarity I'm seeking is for them and for their understanding. That there will be more water. The important thing is it doesn't get any higher.
It doesn't get any, yes.
But it's gonna
Cannot
flow
raise
past
that
your
all.
house for a longer period of time.
Floods are yours.
That though.
Hmm?
Right?
So
We're by law required to guarantee that that doesn't raise up.
Yeah.
By
We're
state
required.
and federal law.
Videos of what flood looked like.
And again, to speak to that June event was, I'm not sure.
I took a car 2 years prior to that on Gatewood in Country Place. So don't tell me that it was a 500-year thing.
No, a 500-year flood doesn't mean it only happens once every 500 years. That's not what that means. It means that it's a ratio based on the amount of water as quickly as it came down. It doesn't mean that it only happens once every 500 years. Well, you can have 500-year rains 3 days in a row. So, yeah, and we have, yes, Bruce. And
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that the drainage issue lies at the feet of the Corps of Engineers. The ultimate drainage issue for this whole part of town is you guys can only do what the Corps will let you do. So what I want to know, are they looking at the big picture to improve the drainage for this whole part of town?
The Corps.
The Corps of Engineers, yeah.
The Corps, as part of our project, has looked at our project alone. I don't know what the Corps is doing beyond the limits of this project that I've given them. They are aware of what we are doing. They are aware and have confirmed that we are not raising or lowering the floodway through that area. But I can't speak to what else the Corps knows up or downstream of this problem.
Did they ever hold a meeting like this? The Corps of Engineers? The gods of the drainage?
They're working with us, Bruce. That's why we have this
Pardon?
meeting. They work with us. We're working with them. That's why we're having this meeting. It wouldn't be their meeting.
It
because
would be
that's-
great if one of them was here. Yeah.
So what I hear you saying, what I hear all of you up there saying is there is a drainage problem in this area, as is evidenced by the people in the videos that we offered to show them. But this project is simply a road project. You're not concerned about any of the water. You're by law not required to add
I'm
more.
very concerned about it.
Okay.
My legal requirement is I can't make it better or worse.
I'm sorry, you're wrong. You can make it better. Your legal requirement isn't that you can't make it better. You can always make it better. So please don't say that again. I mean, that's insulting. I mean, you may not want to spend the money to make it better. You may not design it to make it better, but it doesn't mean you can't make it better. There's no legal requirement that says you can't improve it. It just says you can't make it worse. That's the legal requirement.
So my question, how do we as a neighborhood get that addressed while you're addressing this, since our $8.8 million, our tax dollars are gonna go into that, or our sales tax dollars are gonna go into that? How do we address both at the same time? Because it seems like a waste of money to just address the street. And to my understanding, we're not increasing any of the pipes that go under, we're just fixing them up that provide the runoff. I don't see where any drainage improvement is coming when there is obviously a huge city, or a huge problem, which Becky obviously had to talk about all of the cars and all of the flooding.
So I would add, I mean, in any street project, we look at, whether it's, sorry, I'm trying to think back, 127th Street East, a few miles or a few years ago, we have, Harry Street, or Harry 143rd area, East Kellogg's getting ready to even happen. What they are looking at is, again, it's within the confines of the street project to start going and addressing things related to floodplains and floodways. That is a much bigger, that's miles worth of stream. That's a lot major impact that, and I'll be honest, is not anywhere in anyone's budget without a significant increase in, say, like stormwater rates or special grant funding or whatnot. So the only thing we can do is really look at the local project with the street and make sure that we are not creating an adverse impact on what exists today. So making that any worse.
So Steve, would it be fair to say if the motion was made today to approve the concept, the proposed concept to move forward? With the caveat, I mean, it doesn't even have to be in the language, but I'll make sure and you'll make sure this information gets taken back and into consideration that, with the hope of, with the expectation that it won't make it worse. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that'd be fair.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am. Can you please come to the podium and state your name and your address for the record?
My name is Mary Bala Shalato. I live at 9419 Cross Creek. Thank you for all your consideration of this project. That's important to a lot of people here tonight. I guess I just have a basic question is, if there is an opportunity to improve that drainage, isn't this the ideal time to do it? And yes, it would be more expensive, but I mean, it's as we plan for the next decade, 20, 30 years, it won't be easier. We'll just compound the problem. And it just appears to me that this is the time to address it, to improve it, not just continue where it is. But it's a problem now. Why wouldn't we be looking at making the investment to improve it so that in the next decade, Collegiate doesn't have this problem? You know, the other neighbors involved, the commercial people who are going to want to be in that corridor will be impacted as well. So why are we not looking at improving?
And I don't know this, again, I'm not an engineer, I'm gonna make a comment and then Steve or anyone correct me, but there are some places in the community, especially around the Forest Lakes area, there's a couple other neighborhoods, it can't be improved. You can't make water go uphill, right? And things that were developed 25 years ago, neighborhoods that were developed 25 years ago, our standards today wouldn't allow them to be developed the same way. I was just on a deck with Gary and a couple other folks from Stormwater. I can't even remember. Oh, in Whitetail. And they had flooding on June 4th significantly. And the Metropolitan Area Planning Department said this neighborhood, this street would never be allowed to be developed this way now, right? We learn things that involve us with code. So maybe there's nothing that can be done. I'm sure you will look at it. Is that a fair statement? Yes.
Well, and in that line, you know, say, you know, for whatever, 20 million, we could do this. For 10 million, we could do that and allow the question to be raised and addressed. And maybe there isn't enough money, or maybe there isn't a way. But I would assume there's enough creative engineering brilliance between all the people looking at this, that dream could be at least addressed of what would be the best solution. And maybe it's not reachable, but why aren't we looking?
I'm
Let-
sure.
let me try to, I know our stormwater group, there's probably been studies done in this area or different branches. I would like to go back and talk to our stormwater group and see when the last time an analysis was done in this area. I seem to recall, you know, we reconstructed a drainage structure on Douglas, just basically east of Independence School there or whatnot. And I seem to think that there was a fair amount of analysis done when that structure was done on, hey, what improvements can be done to really help alleviate some things upstream. I vaguely remember that there wasn't much we could do with that structure to alleviate upstream concerns because of what was going to happen then downstream. And that's kind of a balance here again, and why the road projects specifically look at, hey, what's really in the immediate area of the street. But I will try to, I'll make a note of myself to go ask around and kind of figure out what study was done recently, and maybe perhaps there were some recommendations on what, if anything, could be done, where that would have to be done at, and maybe there was a cost in there. I don't know, but some of our stormwater staff would probably know off the top of their head more than I do.
And we're trying to find the balance here between helping Collegiate, right? And they definitely need help, and we need traffic calming on that area from 13th to Central and with this. So this is when we have great engineers, traffic engineers, we have stormwater engineers who will work together to come up with the best solution. Yes, Bruce.
If I understand where you folks live, the road technically is upstream from you, is that correct? It's upstream, and to prevent flooding, you want something to happen downstream. And that's part of the road.
Yeah, flooding happens because you live in downstream constraint. And it backs up, it can't leave fast enough, and so flooding starts from the downstream end and fills up there, so. I mean, to all attempts, I know that's why certain things with the roadway elevation, we have to leave the roadway as the 100-year, under the 100-year event, so it will still, even post-construction when we're done, water will spill over top Webb Road in those ranges, because by law, we're not allowed to do anything that would bring Webb Road out.
But to Mary's point, if we, you know, like when you did the Douglas, the one that you talked about, the storm remediation there. If at that time we did that and said, oh, well, it's that area on my road that doesn't have a sewer system and doesn't have all of that. If only we could have done that when we did this, before we did this. That's what I think we're trying to avoid is when we hear we're gonna spend $8.8 million and we're not gonna improve it, but we're not gonna make it worse because we're just doing a road. That is where I think, the angst comes in.
Sure. And I can understand that. I do think it's a much bigger picture. It's that spans miles of this creek and tributary that.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing. Yeah. I think that's what we're doing. I mean, yes, we will, yes, sir. Can you come to the?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Real quick, I misspoke, misheard your question. We are, it's backwards when you asked it. All right, so, I could use my neighbors, this doesn't count for my.
Need your name.
Matt Walters, 9419, we share the same address, but I'm on Shannon Way. If you're getting my DoorDash, somebody is. So, trying to lighten the mood here a little bit, thank you, I do stand-up comedy, some of my people are here, my neighbors hate when I get a microphone, real quick. Go Chiefs, by the way, this was in my car, and it was cold, so I don't know anything about the Dolphins. This is wonderful, thank you guys for that. The problem is this AI? Was this artist rendering? It was AI.
No, it was. No, that's.
Okay.
He did what? And he.
That guy in the back corner is very good.
Not trying to knock anybody out, but I've lived right there on top of that screen the last 12 years. That rendering is completely unreality when it comes to what's really there and the topography of this road. My backyard, I'm one house north. My neighbor's right here, who's right next to Middle Hall. I'm one house north of them. You're standing in my backyard, which by the way, I did not get any water in my backyard. But if you stand in my backyard, Webb Road's about right here. That's how high it is. Step up. The problem, and I'm not here to talk about lanes to collegiate. I have 3 kids, 2 that graduate, one that may because his art grade up. But all 3 of my kids, I would have never let them walk up this road. Not because of the infrastructure, but because of the traffic, because of what goes on there. Even with the sidewalk, I still would have not let that happen. And I'm a pretty free-range parent. Spent 26 years in the military. Thank you for your service, by the way. So that's why I like to speak. So where I want to get with this is I'm here because of trees. I don't care about the 5th lane, the center lane. Now that it's great for collegiate. There's some parents here that had children injured at collegiate for not having a turn lane. That's great, and that should happen. The problem I have is this corridor is useless for pedestrian traffic. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe not in 10 years. But the east side of this road, 100%, I totally see a sidewalk. I totally see it connecting what used to be All-Star Sports all the way up north. The west side of the road, if you actually, in reality, walk that road and see what's there, the road is actually 4 to 5 feet higher than the fence line. So if you do put a sidewalk there, you're gonna have to raise that fence line completely, pretty much the whole way. I think when you get down into some of the easements, it does level out, but from Minnehaha, I would say my property, your property, Spawns are just here, they just left. Their properties, it's a 4 to 5 foot drop within about 10 feet. I don't know the math on that, what if it's a 4 to 1 like we talked earlier. But the big issue is you're gonna come through there, not you, the future project, and they're gonna schwack all of those trees. Now I see we have Bonnie Bray, I see we have Hawthorne. The question is states, is there any HOA up here from Lake Point at all? The president just walked out, the HOA for Lake Point. So he's not happy, and neither am I. And I have been here 25, 30 years like a lot of people. I'm a new resident. The military brought me to Wichita. By the way, the favorite thing about Wichita is I don't have a sidewalk on the west side of the street. No, I have a gate there. I built a gate. I built a gate on my fence against my HOA approval. They got mad about it. I had to have it for things that we do, and I wanted to go out and clean trash along the road. I walk it all the time. There is no room for a sidewalk unless you schwack all of those trees. If somebody kind of came to your neighborhood and want to take out all your trees, I'm sure you wouldn't be happy about that either, right? So that's all I got. Any questions? Sorry, not trying to beat you guys up, but what I want this to make sure is the reality of this. I'm not a floodplain owner. I'm not a person that's had a child with an accident, but I am somebody that pays taxes. I am somebody that is there every day. And the reality of the fact is, no matter what are you typing on this?
Yep.
Can you slow down? Okay,
Yes,
sorry,
you're
I'm
recording.
nervous. I've never been to one of these before, so I don't know if this is what you're supposed to do. Wow, yeah, thanks. The reality is, please just go walk this. Put your 2 feet on that, what might be a sidewalk, and look. It's completely different than rendering, 100%. And plus, my fence is not as nice as that fence. Please put that in minutes.
I will.
Thank you, guys, sorry.
Unless there's any other questions, I'm ready to make a motion.
Oh, sir, yes.
The only reason I use ballooning in that map.
Okay, thank you.
David Whitfield.
Oh, wait, could you come?
27 East Cross Creek.
I'm sorry, could you say it again?
David Withrow, 9427 East Cross Creek. I'm not gonna go over what everybody's talked about. What I wanna know is, can we make changes? Can
Oh.
everybody hear me on?
Yes, this is, and we said that, and I'm sorry if you didn't hear, this is just a proposed design to initiate the process. This is in no way the final process. This means if we approve this tonight, then it can go to the city council. The city council, if they approve it, that means they can release the first allocation of funds for the design. So this is just the concept, the proposed concept. This is not the final in any way.
We've got, again, 2 years to get through the rest of the design process. If we get 1 year into this, we realize, hey, the PC comes to us, says, hey, we've got an issue, something we need to reevaluate, readdress, absolutely. We're not absolutely committed to 100%. This is exactly what it's gonna look like, built and finished or whatnot. It is concept of, hey, 5-lane roadway, concept, sidewalks on both sides, right? If we can make it all work and whatnot, there's still 2-year process to go through with this. So yes, if we find out something doesn't work, we still have the ability to either walk away from it, make modifications, whatever that.
And I use this analogy a lot. So because we are your city government, we are your taxpayer dollars. This is basically like initiating a purchase order, right? This means that now if it passes here, it can go to city council, and then if it can go to, and like in a company, like, you know, the, I don't know, the manager would sign a purchase order, you're the first purchase order signer, if you will. And then if it goes to city council, that means the money, the first $750,000 can be released for the design. So this is not the finished product at all. And I see this happen a lot where we start here and we end up with something different.
You'll bring the design back to show them once it's designed.
Yes.
Okay. Can 1 or 2 of us be involved in this very early stage to at least let you on our properties to see what we're talking about?
I'll come
Ask
over.
questions and suggestions, because, you know, like you said a minute ago, we have lived this for a long time and we have really good ideas. But we'd like to see the project go forward in a lot of different ways. It's just, there's some serious concerns that we have that we think can be fixed. We just need a chance.
Absolutely. I've got business cards on the, if Mod got some, you reach out to us. I think we can find a way, find a time to ask a group or whatnot to build this.
And we'll come to HOA meetings. We
Sure.
do that frequently. I can't tell you how many times I'm with the engineer team in people's backyards and streets and whatever. That is absolutely our job. So yes, unequivocally, yes. If you invite us, we will come. Anything else? Thank you to everyone for all your great questions, comments. Keep them coming. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning of this process. So reach out at any time. You can, Teresa, I think you have my cards back there. Is that correct? Reach out anytime. So seeing any more discussion from the district advisory board.
Yes, Becky,
Tracy.
I wanna make sure, and I appreciate all of the input and the engagement tonight. I wanna make sure that I understand that we are voting today for you to take back to the council an agreement to release funds to study the proposed rendering or to study the proposed improvement.
This is the proposed design. And so we're saying, okay, we think that this is something that should happen. We have needs. And then engineering is gonna work with stormwater to ensure that the situation does not get worse with the improvements, correct, Steve? And Amash.
But are we still studying it, or we've already established that there's a need?
We've established that there's a need. Now we're coming up with the design.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep, of course.
Before we go to voting, we have three pending, we'll say, we have three pending issues. The collegiate, the pedestrian crossing, and the stormwater and the drainage. These three things we still, for sure, we're gonna study them, we're gonna look at the numbers, and we're gonna make sure that we're gonna make this project as perfect as we can. We can't do everything right now, we don't have enough time to do everything before that meeting. We're gonna look at these three problems, three issues, and we're gonna make sure that we're gonna do the perfect or the best option.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that very much. Stephanie.
I'll make a motion. You're ready. Any more questions?
Oh, I had a motion already written.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
but she raised her hand.
Yeah.
One quick question.
Sure.
This is a long-term process and there's lots to still discover and study and things. But what can we do in the meantime? And this obviously will be something else, but what can we do in the meantime to slow that traffic through there?
Unfortunately, not a lot.
Like even just changing the speed limit, adding,
Steve, if you wanna jump in, but unfortunately, continue to work with collegiate, try and do some education. I know there's some things that they said that they can do.
but like even that 40 mile per hour sign coming from, going north from Minnehaha. You get out of the school district, or the school zone. And you start speeding up, it hits that 40 miles, and that's when you should be slowing down for our section. The cops are out there every morning doing the best they
Yeah,
can,
they
and I'm
are.
so grateful for them, but even they have had some close calls.
Yes, and I live right up on Webb and I traverse that every single day, and you're right, police do a wonderful job. Steve, I don't know what else could be done in terms of traffic calming right now. I know. There is.
Yeah, I mean,
13,
speak with our
but not
traffic
on Webb.
engineer, I don't know what we might be able to do in the short term. And there's chances someone's already looked at it, again, to what Councilmember said, I think there continued talks, obviously with collegiate. Things that you guys are already doing and anything to sure improve upon, even as we get closer to this project, which.
Even just in Andover, someone said one of those flashing signs that won't like your speed, yeah. Like something just to.
Oh, that is there in University.
Oh, that's what it is.
I drove down there once.
Thank you. And we'll stay in contact with collegiate all that we can.
Actually, can I ask one more question?
Of course.
Because he asked you, and you kind of just said, I know. How come there isn't a 20-mile-an-hour zone in front of collegiate? Why doesn't it go from Minnehaha pretty much all the way to 13th?
I don't know that. I know there's on 13th, it's a school zone, Howard
Right.
School Zone, he doesn't.
Why is it not?
I wish I could answer that, I simply don't know at the moment, so,
We can check into it.
yeah, for sure.
Is it public versus private? It's a public road. Has nothing to do with that?
I don't think so, because there's parochial schools that have.
Yeah, well, and there's school zone on 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
it's not
people
because
drive
it's
on
parochial, it's probably because there aren't sidewalks to have pedestrians.
People walk from Lakewood and Gateway, but things would nobody walk on.
That's what we just said, there's no pedestrians, that's probably why. So that could be something, I guess, that would be analyzed if sidewalks go up, would it also maybe warrant a traffic signal and a school site zone? That's why this is the process of starting it, to see what we can do. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? You came here, so.
All right, well, I motion to approve the proposed design concept with the expectation that drainage and pedestrian issues will be considered and not rate.
I'll second that.
And Steve, that's realistic, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what we'll do anyway, it's just putting an emphasis on it. So Teresa, did you get that?
No.
Okay. Jane?
The motion to approve the proposed design concept with the expectation that drainage and pedestrian issues will be considered and not deteriorate further.
And Teresa, I seconded it. Stephanie.
And Tracy, we're gonna take a vote, so just give us a shout out. But we have a vote, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. We have 10 of the 11 district advisory board members here with restrictions. So take our cards, please reach out. We'll come to any HOA, we'll come to your backyard. We'll do anything, we'll keep them to collegiate, we'll do anything we can. Thank you for coming today. And you can stay if you want. We have snow next.
This is the most exciting part.
All right, I am gonna take a point of privilege and the Wichita Police Department, and I gave them the option to leave and they wanted to stay.
Good.
So if the Wichita Police, if our dear friends would want to come forward and give your report, and then we'll move on with the rest of the agenda. But since they came, we want to hear from them. And thank you for the robust discussion, team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be safe getting home.
No.
Sorry for our tardiness.
Oh,
At the
no, and I'm
beginning.
sorry you had to wait a bit, but I'm sure you enjoyed the robust discussion.
Yes, it was very interesting.
Yes, very nice.
The microphone. The.
Yep. Apologize.
Just stay here. I would make a request. We have to continue on with the meeting. If you could potentially take your conversations outside, that would be so appreciated. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, go friends.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Officer Phil Berger. I'm with the Wichita Police Department Patrol East. I'm with Community Policing. I'm accompanied by Officer Colby Miller, Patrol East. He's also on the Community Policing team. I briefly just want to go over some crime statistics in the DAB2 area. And just not to get too far in the weeds on how we classify our cases. We classify them in part 1 and part 1 violent, part 1 property as well. So those statistics, we saw a 13% decrease in our part 1 violent. And what part 1 violent encompasses are criminal homicides, robberies, and aggravated assaults. And aggravated assaults are, it could be with a weapon placing somebody in fear. For example, would be like someone producing a gun in a road rage incident. That would be like an aggravated assault. All of those crimes are down 13%, which is what we want to see. We don't want to see an increase in crime, so it's good to see. Part 1 property encompasses everything from burglary, larcenies, larceny for autos, and auto thefts. And we saw a 6% decrease in part 1 property. So obviously we're going in the right direction there as well. We are coming into the colder months. And what we see are people, their cars are left outside. They like to warm their cars. So it's this time of season where criminals, they're opportunistic and they will rummage your neighborhoods and look for cars that are warming up. They will break the windows to get in. And that's when we see a really sharp increase in auto thefts during these colder months. So you can leave your car running if you have an auto like an auto start, and you can do that way. But if it's key operated, it's again city ordinance to leave your car unattended running. So please just be mindful of that stuff, and don't be a victim, because oftentimes auto thieves, when they steal a car, they're used to commit other crimes. So just be a hard target. Just keep that stuff in mind. We also
see a lot of car hopping in the neighborhoods. And what that is are people during the overnight hours, they will rummage through the neighborhoods and they check car door handles. If the cars are unlocked, they're gonna rummage your stuff and take what's inside. They're crime opportunity as well. So we encourage people to lock your vehicles, garage them if you can, and just don't leave valuables in your cars. We see it way too much. In the most extreme cases, people lose their firearms because they forget them in the car or they like to leave their firearms in the car. That's where we see these younger kids in possession of firearms. It's one of the ways. So just be a hard target. Don't lose your stuff. That's kind of that. Want to give a shout out to all the veterans. I know Veterans Day is tomorrow, so who ever served, me and Willie Miller served, so.
Well, thank you both for your service.
Yeah.
And your service.
Yeah, our pleasure. So, I don't really have too much more than that.
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions at all?
Are you guys still doing like the trigger locks or the lock boxes? Is that still something you guys?
Yeah, if you are looking for a gun lock, you can go to any substation and you should be able to get one for free. So.
And we also do save a case, casing, save
Yeah,
a casing.
yes,
So
we
if you have a firearm, you can take it to the police, they'll
Yep.
shoot around. They'll save I think they save the casing,
Yep.
and that way if your firearm is ever stolen and utilized in a crime, they have proof that it wasn't you who did your firearm.
Yeah, it's a quick way for the police department to do a knifing connections. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I
Yes.
have one comment. I live at 21st and 127th, and we have a deteriorating asset that's in the corner there, and we've continually had issues with homeless people and other people breaking into the property. The property has just been re-secured. Are you guys still utilizing or still coming out there?
Are you talking about that Calamar apartment?
Yes.
Okay.
I live in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and so.
Too soon, Stephanie, too soon.
I saw,
So-
I saw someone walking there today. That's why I was like, I literally circled back around.
We got the
So they
fence
did
up
not
though,
go
that
in
was
there.
huge.
Yeah.
Didn't the fence get back
The
up?
fence is back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Very
so,
happy about that.
I was involved with MABCD when the fence got taken down.
Mhm.
And the building and the site was just pretty much left unsecure.
Correct.
So to combat that, they kind of went through and boarded up the exterior as best they could, and took all of the construction materials and put them away and secured them as well. So, hopefully making it less inviting for criminal activity during the overnight time. I'm not sure what's going on, why the fence has been.
You don't wanna know.
Yeah, you don't wanna know.
I know there's a lot going on with the developer and contracts, so. That is my beat. I'm over 39, so I'm the CP officer, so now you've got a face.
Swing through every once in a while.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you.
I don't know if you guys have been.
We'd bake you cookies.
I don't know if you've been in there, but it is unbelievably massive.
Yeah.
It would be an absolute nightmare for the police to clear that effectively. Because
I've cleared it overnight before.
Yeah.
It took at
Took
least
you guys
4 or
about-
5 of us, so, and it took us every day 20-30 minutes.
yeah, and I would argue that's probably even inadequate for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue at least 20 or 30 just to effectively clear, if there was somebody inside, like breaking in and taking stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you see something, call 911 right away. And that's my best advice, because, you know, we only know what we know. And people in the community are our eyes and ears, so obviously that benefits us if you guys see something, we're not in the areas. Yeah, hopefully it's a work in progress. Hopefully somebody can develop it.
We're just super happy that the fence got put back up. That will hopefully deter. what's happening.
Awesome. All right, one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know that the chief and the mayor were talking about like street racing, and our neighborhood is like Kellogg and Rock Road.
Mhm.
So is the street racing, is that including like the motorcycles?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know some residents, they were like, okay, street racing, that's great, but we're not having a problem with street racing in our area. It's just motorcycles that are.
I would probably argue it's more towards the motorcycles.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is if we get behind a motorcyclist and we light it up, they're gonna run. And they're gonna run a lot faster than what we can catch them. So that.
The library will be closing in 15 minutes. Please ask for any assistance at this time. If you are using a computer, please save your work and collect any print jobs at this time, as they will be shutting down shortly.
This is a recording.
So it's a losing battle for us to get into a police pursuit with, and they go so fast and we don't want to inherently danger, the public. So it's just, I don't want to say that we don't go after motorcyclists. We just have to make a better plan than just us trying to initiate a pursuit.
Like,
Flock helps, but if you notice, I mean, most motorcyclists too, it may not read it appropriately, and they're going so fast, I don't even know if a flock camera would catch it. We do have some special assignments to hopefully address that, and hold those people accountable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So speaking of the flock cameras, car hopping has been rampant in my neighborhood. Maybe this is a better question for Becky, but is there like an interactive process? Like if we're interested in getting flock cameras in our neighborhood, is that?
Yes, we have other neighborhoods whose HOAs have tied into the flock system. We actually love it. So I can get you in touch with Captain Slaughter, Casey Slaughter. And what we recommend that you do before you go and purchase your camera, work with us to make sure that it's gonna be compatible. We have businesses do that too, like Bradley Fair just did major security upgrades. And I got them in contact with the WPD before they purchased the equipment to make sure that it all can be integrated. So Aaron, call me, email me, whatever, and I'll make sure you get in touch with Captain Slaughter. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Chris's neighborhood, Chris isn't here tonight, but I'm almost positive it was Chris's neighborhood. And yours too.
Chisholm Creek.
Yep, Chisholm Creek, we got you.
It's a
hooked up.
contract.
Yep,
With the vendor.
yep.
Any other questions from?
All right, thank you so much. Thank you
pleasure.
for hanging in there.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no,
it.
Not a problem.
All right, next on the agenda, number now 8, CUP 2025-0036, and Brad from PD, sorry. It's been a long day. MAPD, Metropolitan Area Planning Department is here to present the case. I just want to state for the record, I have had no ex parte communication with the residents, the applicant, or the agent. So Brad, take it away.
Thank you.
And what do you love about Wichita, Brad? Besides District
I
2?
love District 2. Is this thing on?
No.
No. Okay. For all the agents out in the audience that want to hear me talk, no, what I love about Wichita is that everybody left before I came up. They didn't wait for me to talk this time. No, I love the civic engagement. That's important, but it is nice to kind of be free this evening. So we are discussing CUP 2025-00036. In this case, the applicant is requesting a minor amendment to the Wildcat Kellogg Commercial CUP, which is VP 347. Subject site is 2.3 acres in size and is zoned GC General Commercial. It is located on the southeast and southwest corners of East Kellogg Drive and South Wildcat Lane. And they're asking for 4 different things: to modify the building coverage allowance on parcel 1, modify gross floor area allowance on parcel 1, to remove architectural controls for parcels 1, 5, and 6, and to modify the boundary of parcel 1 due to a vacation of a right of way. So if you look up in that top left-hand corner where there's a little wavy yellow line, the applicant is requesting to vacate a portion, that northwest portion, which is technically right of way. So if that gets approved, effectively that will become part of parcel 1. So that's what is going to take care of that portion of the request. And then they are also asking to change the setbacks. So that the setbacks for the north property line of parcel one and the west property lines of parcel one and parcel five, which if we can scroll maybe to is there a site, maybe scroll up. Yeah, right there. So parcel one is that northwest corner, and then parcel five is directly below that. So they're asking that the setbacks just conform or be governed by the CUP language. And that proposed language includes a 20-foot setback along East Kellogg Drive for parcel one, and then a 10-foot setback along South Wildcat Lane for parcel one, parcel five. The architectural controls that they're asking to basically remove from parcel 1, 5, and then 6, which is the big one on the left. They state currently that all buildings within the CUP shall share a similar architectural character with similar predominant exterior materials as determined by the Director of Planning. And then also that the predominant exterior building material shall be non-metal unless approved by the Director of Planning. And the applicant is requesting to remove that from parcels 1, 5, and 6. And just kind of give a little bit of side note. MAPD, we're actually encouraging to get rid of architectural controls in all CUPs and PDs because a lot of it is very subjective and puts the onus on the planning director to kind of become the one who determines that. So it's something that we're trying to kind of get away with anyway. So now stating that, these have been in place for the other parcels that have been developed. So that is something to consider going forward though. A little bit of the area property to the north, if we go back down to the zoning map, Teresa. Across US Highway 54-400, it's zoned LI, limited industrial, and it's developed with general retail. Property to the east is zoned GC and is in the same CUP as developed with vehicle repair and limited warehouse. Vehicle repair limited and warehouse self-service storage. And then properties to the south are zoned GC and are developed with a utility major and an office warehouse combo. And then property to the west is zoned GC and is also part of 347 and is developed with general retail. As far as case history goes, in 2018, the Wildcat Kellogg commercial CUP was established. And in 2019, an administrative adjustment was granted, merging CUP DP 82 with CUP DP 347. So basically that parcel 6 on the west was its own DP and it got merged into the DP that's the other parcels to the east. As far as public services go, the subject site has access to both South Wildcat Lane and East Kellogg Drive. There are no sidewalks on the Wildcat Lane. There is a sidewalk on the south side of East Kellogg Drive. And Wichita Transit does not provide regular bus service, and then the municipal services are available to the site. As far as conformance to the plans and policies, the proposed amendment is in conformance with the 2035 future growth concept map. The map identifies the area to be appropriate for new employment. And in this case, the applicant is actually not suggesting any new uses to the parcels, just the removal of architectural controls could be perceived as detrimental to the overall aesthetic. And then just a little point of fact, all business owners within the CUP have been notified and we have not received any comments from any of them as well. As far as the locational guidelines under development pattern, guideline 1C states that major commercial and employment centers should be located at intersections of arterial streets along highways and commercial corridors. And this CUP is definitely along the commercial corridor of Highway 54-400. So staff does recommend the amendment to the DP 347 be approved. subject to the conditions that are listed in the staff report. And we have not heard from any members of the public on this one.
This go to MAPC.
It will go on Thursday.
Okay.
And that's all I have. I can stand for any questions.
Questions from the district advisory board? Seeing none, yes.
I just have a simple question. Can you explain simply why they would want to change?
The library will be closing in 5 minutes. Please ask for assistance and check out all materials at this time.
I mean, Brad can.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
What is the advantage that the owner, what's this gonna do for them to make these changes?
Yeah, I'll let the agent answer that question.
Brian, come on down.
Good evening, Brian Lindeback, I'm KDC Engineering, 411 Northwood Road on behalf of our applicant. In short, we're matching the side setback that's along Wildcat that is on the opposite side of the street, and which is 10 foot. And so we're wanting to do the same here, and it'll allow us to build a little bit closer to Wildcat. So that's the main thing. I would just add one thing that was not brought up, and is we're working with Public Works, and we're probably gonna have a little bit of a change on setback at the intersection of Kellogg Drive and Wildcat. Instead of a 20-foot setback, we're gonna have a 30-foot setback at a very hard corner. So nothing substantial there, but minor change.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, anyone from the community here to address this case? Seeing none, bring it back to the district advisory board. I would entertain a motion.
Move with group.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second, you. All those in favor say aye. Tracy, we got you. What say you?
Aye.
Thank you. Anyone opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
10.
10 up, yes. Next case is CUP 2025-00029 and zoning 2025-00041. Again, Brad is with us from the Metropolitan Area Planning Department. Just for the record, I have had ex parte communication with residents, with the applicant, and with the agent. Brad.
Yes, thank you again.
Thank you.
Brad Etherly, MAPD. We are discussing CUP 2025-00029 along with zone 2025-00041. For this case, the applicants are requesting 2 items. They are creating the Eastside Community Church Commercial CUP DP 365, and then also to rezone from SF5 Single Family Residential to LC Commercial District, Limited Commercial District. So in this case, the subject site is 10.9 acres in size, is zoned SF5, and is located on the northwest corner of East 21st Street North and North 143rd Street East. The applicants are requesting the zone change from SF5 to LC to permit all uses allowed by right in the LC district, except for several uses that are listed in the staff report. Do want to make sure that they are allowing restaurants that serve liquor can be developed and may serve liquor as long as food is the primary service of the establishment, and that entertainment establishments may be allowed but only as an accessory use to a restaurant, and they would also be subject to supplementary use regulations and the zone code. Staff recommends removing nightclub in the county because the subject site is within the city limits of Wichita, and then putting in the entertainment establishment part. The applicants propose that parcel 5 would exclude multifamily development and single family dwellings, and duplexes would be limited to single story dwellings. Landscaping is proposed to be in accordance with the city of Wichita landscape code. 15-foot landscape buffer along the north and west lines of parcels 1 through 3 and the west property line of parcel 5 are also proposed. Landscaping within this buffer shall be required at a rate of 1.5 times the tree calculation that is in the Wichita landscape code. As parcels develop along the arterial roadways, Landscape street yards with parking lot screening would be required. As far as parking goes, parking is proposed to be in accordance with the UZC. And as far as screening goes, solid screening is proposed with a 6 to 8 foot high concrete masonry wall along the north property line of parcel 5, where it's adjacent to residential uses. Signage is proposed to be in accordance with the city of Wichita sign code with some exceptions.
The library is now closed. Please exit at this time. Thank you for visiting your Wichita Public Library.
So the signage is supposed to be in accordance with the sign code with some exceptions, and I'll just kind of go through a couple of the things that are different. And I do think that the agent will also have some requests that he will want to bring up. And I can kind of give a little bit more background to that as well. But parcel 4 would be allowed a maximum of 2 signs with a combined area of 240 square feet along North 143rd Street East. No one sign would be permitted to be larger than 180 square feet. Again, these are what the applicant are proposing. And then also all freestanding signs for parcel 4 would be allowed to be monument or pole type signs, which shall have a minimum height of 28 feet. So as far as staff goes, since no specific zoning designation is given, if the CUP is approved with this language, signage would be in accordance with the LC district of the sign code. Now, staff does recommend adding a provision that flashing signs, except for signs showing only time, temperature, and other public service messages, rotating or moving signs, signs with moving lights, or signs which create illusions of movement not be permitted. The proposed general provisions conform to the sign code except for number 6, and that in order to allow a sign to have a maximum height higher than 25 feet, staff recommends allowing for only 1 sign on parcel 4. As far as nearby properties, if we can go to the zoning map, please, thank you. Properties to the north, I think you got scroll right there. Yeah, thanks. Properties to the north are zoned SF5 and are developed with single family dwellings. Properties to the east across 143rd Street are zoned SF5 and LC and are developed with agricultural uses. The LC zone property is developed or is designated as CUP 351 and is outside the city limits of Wichita. Properties to the south across West 21st Street North are in LC and are part of CUP 302. They're undeveloped. And then other property within the DP is developed with multifamily residential. Properties to the west are zoned SF5 and are developed with church and single family dwellings. As far as case history goes, on September 15th, 2004, the subject site was platted as part of the Eastside Community Church 2nd Edition. And in 2003, an application for a zone change from SF20 to LC along with the CUP was made. However, the application for both requests were withdrawn before any final decision could be made. As far as public services, the site has access to East 21st Street North and North 143rd Street East. Sidewalks are provided along East 21st Street North. And city services currently serve the site. Wichita Transit does not provide service to the site. As far as plans and policies, the requested zone changes in partial conformance with community investments plan. The future growth map identifies the majority of the area to be appropriate for residential and employment mix. We believe that the proposed zoning and the uses permitted in the proposed CUP align with the future growth concept map. As far as locational guidelines, under the heading development pattern, guideline 1C states that major commercial and employment centers should be located in intersections of arterial streets and along highways and commercial corridors. Also under development pattern, guideline 3B states that major commercial development should be guided to the intersection of 2 arterial streets. And that's where this is located. And then lastly, under the same heading, guideline 3B states that low density residential uses should be buffered from commercial and industrial areas by open space, water bodies, changes in topography, or major barriers such as arterial streets or highways. And there really are no such barriers to the single family development to the north. And the proposed commercial partially used properties except for the screening and landscaping requirements that would be provided by the CUP. We can go to site pics. This, you may not be able to find it easily because,
I know.
yeah.
I know.
So
There's
we
so
might
many-
skip it, but it's, yeah, there we go. So this is looking north into the site and looking west into the site, and then looking south away, looking east away. And then looking west away from the site into the church, and then looking north away from the site. I think that might be it. Yeah, so staff does recommend the zone change from SF5 to LC and the creation of the site community church be approved. Subject to the conditions that are listed in the staff report. I will say that this particular case, I received more comments. I know Councilmember Tuttle received a fair amount as well, maybe even more than I did. Yeah, and this is probably the most I've ever received for any case in the 2 years that I've been here. However, I do know that, and I will say, almost all of them were against, opposed to the case. However, the developer probably did more outreach with the community than I've ever seen in a case like this. And I didn't get many, but I did get a few community members send me emails that asked to basically remove their opposition comment from the public comment, which I didn't, but I did include their new comment as well. So having said all that, I think there probably are still some that are not happy with the project, but I you know, did get some comments that kind of removed those oppositions. I can stand for any questions.
And I just wanted to state too that the applicant, I agree, we had meetings at churches, I met in the cul-de-sac at Chestnut Ridge. Maybe not the most comments I've had about a case, we've had some recently, but really close. So I do appreciate all the engagement and from not only the residents of Chestnut Ridge, but also from the church and from the applicants. Thank you. So questions from the district advisory board?
I guess I'm not seeing what the people that wrote these letters are seeing.
Something's changed since, that's what he said, and that's why some people ask
So-
to have their letters withdrawn.
So I'll just kind of explain, and I might even move up here to the screen, kind of point out. So originally, the agent and the applicant had included this portion that kind of leads up to what's been developed so far as another parcel, and that was going to be for multi-family. They really did not want that, and the agent and the applicant came back and said, we're gonna leave a little bit of a buffer there. I think the idea for that in the future is to be single family, so that it's not multi-family just butting up against the single family development. And then that keeps commercial, I think Phil may contradict me, but I think that parcel 5 now, which is the north part of that kind of backwards L, is yeah, it's still
Parcel 5 backs up to that, doesn't it? That subdivision. I mean, it goes all the way up to it.
it doesn't, yeah. They changed it to where it does not go all the way up to
This is the reason.
That includes this.
Right.
So it's still limited commercial, but that's, I think the idea is to do multifamily, but it would only be allowed or duplexes, and then possibly even single family, but all of them would be allowed as single story units.
Because this castle walk.
And if I'm looking for
There's
this
a
correct.
couple conversations.
Before you get ready.
No, I just want to make sure everybody can hear.
So I guess my question would go back then, so the parcels, the SF5 change to limited commercial is not going to include that potential section anymore, we're just looking at the section in blue.
In the blue.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay. Um,
And the agent is here as well.
yes, and the applicant. We'll open it up for the agent to, come and address any concerns, and then we'll go to the community.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening, Phil Meyer with Baughman Company, agent for the applicant. With me here tonight is Evan LaRue, who's the developer on this project. The church is the applicant because the church owns the property today, but upon approval of the zone change, then Evan would be the developer of this project. Could I ask you to go up one, I think one slide will get me there, page 10 of the staff report. There we go. That'll work. Thank you. So, yeah, we did defer this several times. This was originally scheduled for the September 25th Planning Commission. We were going to be at your October 13th DAB meeting. We deferred this twice. We deferred it the first time to have a voluntary neighborhood meeting with the neighbors, and all the neighbors that were concerned about this were to the north and to the west of the development. I'm gonna tell you, there were 60 to 80 people in the room, I think is what I told planning commission.
There were 64.
64, Councilwoman Tuttle was there, so she saw the crowd and obviously counted us. So we had a long, robust conversation that night that I'm gonna say lasted 3.5 hours, something like that. Did a lot of discussing. During that, we had what's shown as a little single family there on the north, shown as parcel 6. We agreed with the neighborhood. So after that meeting, we deferred it one more time before I went to planning commission because we weren't quite there yet. We were still talking to the neighborhood. And we agreed we would do single family. It'd be a cul-de-sac off 143rd. That's a concept. You can't say it's gonna look exactly like that. Not a lot of options, but that's going to stay single family. Parcel 5, we agreed we would not do any multifamily on that. We wouldn't do anything over 1 story in height if we did residential. But it will be zone commercial. Our intention is to do limited commercial on that. So when we went to planning commission, most of the neighbors were satisfied. We did have one person speak against it at planning commission. I at planning commission asked for revisions to the staff report, specifically parcel 4. So parcel 4 is the one on the corner of 21st and 143rd. And that has a contract on it for a financial institution. And I needed some revisions to staff recommendations on signage. You know, I had asked for 2 signs. Combined signage of 240 square feet with only 1 sign maxing out at 180 square feet. Staff was asking that it just be a single sign since we asked for an increase in height. We did ask for 28-foot height, which staff is supportive of. But we were looking to do at least one on 21st Street and a smaller one on 143rd. So I asked planning commission if they would approve it with 2 signs the way I submitted it. With one of them have a maximum height of 180 and only 1 sign can be 28 feet. And planning commission approved it with the way the applicant requested that, and that's in the minutes of how the planning commission approved it. We also asked to remove what is now 6G, which talks about flashing signs, except for signs showing time, temperature, and other public service messages. Rotating and moving signs and moving lights or signs which create illusion of movement are not permitted. The permitted monument or pole sign may include variable electronic message boards. So we feel like 6G is kind of outdated. I asked for it to be removed from the CUP. Planning commission felt like it was okay to remove it from parcel 4, but it should be on parcels 1, 2, 3, and 5. We agreed to that.
because 4 is the only one that the proposed financial institution going on 4 is going to have a message board like you're seeing on a lot of financial institutions and other businesses now, which does have signage that is video in nature. So planning commission approved it, removing that requirement from parcel 4 only. I would ask you tonight in your motion, if you're willing to approve the zone change in the CUP, that you approve it per MABC's recommendation rather than staff recommendation. With that, I will stop and answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from Bill?
Can you clarify the removal of G again for me? It's because they're going to have it regardless.
Well, we can't
Or
have
what
it
they
as
want,
CUP,
yeah.
yes, it's what they would like. It matches the sign that they have on all their other financial institutions in town. They're trying to do the same thing that they have as their standard signage. And that language makes it questionable whether it's allowed.
Yeah, as someone that has one of those signs near me, I wish I would have had somebody advocate for me in my neighborhood. And so I'm just, what did the neighborhood say about having one of those signs so close to them?
Being that it was on parcel 4, which is down at the intersection, that wasn't their concern.
Okay.
Their concern was
Perfect.
parcel 5 and 6.
I attended all the community meetings and MAPC and that was.
Perfect.
Any other questions for Bill?
I don't see any area for any car washes.
Way too soon.
Don't say that word.
You say.
I can't repeat.
No. Better go to. Thank you, Phil. We appreciate you being here. Now, are there community members who would like to speak? Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. And you also spoke at MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission. So welcome.
I don't need this microphone.
You're
Do I?
good. Yeah, you're.
Everybody can hear me. Okay. Hi, I'm Tracy Organ. I live at 2434 North Springdale Circle, which is just north of the north end of the backwards L. I would ask for a little leniency on time since I've been here for 2.5 hours. I would like to, favorite thing about Wichita, it's relatively low cost of living. Is one of my favorite things. I do want to give a little history about this whole area of Chestnut Ridge, including the church, which we've always included in our neighborhood. In 06 and 07, the homeowners of Chestnut Ridge carefully chose lots for which we would build our biggest investments of our lives, our homes. The end of 2 cul-de-sacs that you can see on there were sold first due to large green spaces behind them in the church, which we've always kind of joked about the grassy knoll at the church. The Christ Church, which is what it's called, on the land which was donated to them, was an expanded backyard for many families with children, a safe place for kids to play with no traffic. The church promised us at that time in 06 and 07, and its parishioners with our neighborhood, that green space would remain and possibly include a softball field someday. Our chosen suburban neighborhood was complete with 209 homes. Over 1 year ago, in 2024, Christ Church began talks with real estate developer to sell 10.9 acres of the grassy yard on the north and east side of the church property, which abuts the Chestnut Ridge neighborhood. Engineers and developers worked on platting the land and what type of rezoning would be necessary for maximum profits for the church, for their donated land, and for the developers. Commercial zoning makes more money than residential. For over a year, the church never mentioned their plans to their parishioners or to their next door neighbors. Dozens of Chestnut Ridge residents received the rezoning application letter from the city, and that was the first time it was brought to the attention of the church members and the neighbors. more than 20% of the directly affected residents in Chestnut Ridge have signed a legal petition against this zoning, which I did turn in last week. So we do have those, people are still protesting this whole zoning plan altogether. They just nominated me to come and talk. So here I am. So I do want to point out, and you can tell on that map, along 143rd north of the church, so about a little bit south of where the L is at the top, is where the tree line begins. And that tree line is about a half a mile long to the north. So it starts in the middle of the church property and goes north for a half a mile.
And so your 3 minutes, that will give you another minute or so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. That really isn't, no one else was timed.
Everybody else this time.
Okay, it's a 70-year-old tree row that provides privacy and blocks noise and weather. North of that, 143rd is not an arterial road, it's a county road, and it's dirt and gravel that spews dirt balls every time someone drives on it. And most of the traffic on 143rd is residents of Chestnut Ridge, residents of East 24th Street that have 20-acre land lots there. We have limited commercial on the southwest corner that's undeveloped. We have limited commercial on the northeast corner that is undeveloped. There's still corn standing there uncut. The other corner is a privately owned property. I just would like to say asphalt and concrete is not progress. It's not going to benefit our community or the city. It won't benefit the city at all, as far as I can say. And not the residents in Chestnut Ridge for sure. So yes, that's all.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Let's see anybody else who would want to make comments. So we'll bring it back to the district advisory board for discussion and potential action. And action.
Does it matter that Sedgwick County is on the other side as far as some of the concerns that she addressed? The city of Wichita has no control over that.
That is true, and they are concerned.
I mean, to what degree?
Oh, like the the road not being paved after 24th, I think, or being able to do, since it's an intersection, you know, limited commercial over here and then cornfield over there, but that's because that's Sedgwick County.
And the reality is, eventually, probably fairly soon, that'll get developed as well. As far as the
Sorry,
that property was trading.
As far as the roadway, I am not Public Works. I don't know what their plans are, but I do know that they look at all roadways, and I would imagine that that's on their radar.
I can say this is not programmed in the current CIP. With the CIP we just passed is 2026 through 2035.
Okay.
And it's not programmed in the CIP at this point, but we update the CIP every year. So as development happens, as growth happens, then we have to reevaluate the capital improvement program. So it's not in there now, but that's not to say it won't be.
I would not bet against 143rd or 143rd being developed as an arterial further north to 29th Street in the next decade. And that green area on the zoning map, I would expect will be annexed and developed in the next 2 decades.
Any other questions?
Did I hear Phil say that their request is slightly different from your recommendation, and would you clarify those differences, please?
So they are asking for revisions to the sign provisions. If you look at, give me a second, I'll get there. Number 6, that there's A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And so basically they are asking, and Phil, if I take this wrong, please feel free to correct me, but sign provision 6A. So for parcel 4, we've got the request of 1 sign. They're wanting actually 2, with 1 on the 21st and 1 on 143rd. So what's crossed out is actually what they're requesting, if you see. And then what we've got uncrossed is what our revisions are. So I can say that MAPC did also make a motion to recommend all of their requests.
Okay.
As far as F, that the freestanding sign can be a monument or a pole type sign with a maximum of 28 feet. So that basically their request was that all freestanding signs, meaning more than 1, where we kind of said 1 will be enough. And then also with G, basically they want to omit all of G. And that is what the MAPC did recommend.
So MAPC then also approved maximum heights for all parcels of 28 feet.
No, just parcel 4.
Just parcel 4, okay.
And G just for parcel.
True.
Number 28 foot is just for parcel 4.
Right. And the removal of G is only. I asked for all of it, they only give me.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
Any other
Quick
discussion?
question.
Yep.
Has the church already sold this property?
Sure, it's pending when.
I understand. Okay.
But there's a letter in there from the church, if you wanna read it. Oh, wow, I turned right to it, page 45.
Well, you're.
May I accept all the conditions?
Oh, I was actually gonna ask you a question, the same thing that I asked, the developer about the flashing signs. Is the neighborhood not concerned about it? Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, I think we've been so overwhelmed with this whole process of signage has been kind of the least of what we've been worried about. But yes, I mean, the people at the end of both of those cul-de-sacs, you know, look out that even, can I get a third view chair? Okay, well, where the Rushwood Senior Living Center is on the south west corner. There's so much lighting around that neighborhood and additional traffic that all the 2 cul-de-sac areas and the area of my neighborhood right next to 21st Street has so much, have complained so much about all the extra lighting just from that. So no, I think lighted signs on that corner would not make anyone happy. If there was one on 21st that only faced out to 21st Street and not, you know, sideways this way, which probably would happen. I think that would be a big concern.
6.
And that sign was on 21st or 143rd?
They're asking for 1 on each.
Oh, 1 on each corner.
But the tall one would be on 21st.
Okay, okay.
Good question. Brad or Phil, I'm looking at page 45, the memo from Pastor Nevins. Saying we do not agree with rezoning of plat 6. I assume that means lot 6 or parcel 6. And parcel 6 is not being developed at this time. It's the one that would be the cul-de-sac of the future.
Right.
All right, there's your.
This one here.
So this is lot 6.
That's okay. Yeah.
Parcel 6. It's not flat. So.
Bruce.
What's your first name?
Brad.
Brad, I'm gonna try to remember that.
That's okay.
You're now our guy. Brad. It would appear to me that the neighborhood letters that are opposed to this are opposed to the rezoning at all. They don't want anything to go in there. Would that be an accurate conclusion?
I didn't read every single one of them word for word, but it seemed to me to be mostly about the multifamily, to the north, where parcel 6 was proposed, and would be potentially looking over into the single family, to the north and to the west. I can't say that there weren't people who were upset about the idea of commercial elsewhere. That's probably an accurate statement, at least some of them were, yeah.
Can I ask a question of him? Not allowed?
Not normally, but you've sat here a very long time and you're right, so yes, I'll entertain it.
I would like to ask, if this all gets changed, is there a plan to preserve that tree line?
So what is required, there are some landscape requirements that would be in place. And that would include, any kind of parking lot screening, that might be up against, 143rd or 21st. There's landscape buffers between commercial uses and residential zones. So if they do put in single family north of the blue line now, there would have to be a 15-foot landscape buffer for the north and even really to the west, as stated in the report, because it is actually up against SF5 where the church is. So that would all have to be there, and they're actually going to go above and beyond what the Wichita Landscape Code requires, so that they actually do 1.5 times what is allowed. So not a crazy amount, but still above and beyond what's required.
Okay, but my question is, specifically for the tree line that exists on 143rd, is there any way that most or all of that could be maintained?
That is not really on the table at this point. Now, the developer wants to keep that, that's his prerogative, but that's not necessarily in our purview right now.
Thank you, Frank. You're doing a great job. Any other questions? Anybody would like to make a motion? Yeah.
I'll make a motion. If you have one.
I didn't write it down, but I'm sure I can fumble through it. Teresa, you ready?
Yep.
Make a motion that we approve with the caveat of the changes that were made prior to submission to this. What do you want to call it? In the red line?
So you want to follow the MAPC recommendation. So you would make a recommendation, you would move that I would be approved with the MAPC recommendation.
There you go.
Is that, I'm not saying it, is
That's
that what
it.
you're saying?
Nope, that's what I was saying.
I will second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone?
Was there a second?
There was a second.
There was,
Mhm.
okay. I'm opposed.
Okay, so 9 in favor and 1 opposed, is that correct? Motion carries 9-1, Fred. And Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, thank you. All right, we're gonna call the last item other than the Exodus. Thank you for being here this evening. CON 2025 001229. Brad,
Yes, thank you.
thank you.
Once again, Brad Etherly for case on 2025-00129. For this case, the applicant is requesting a conditional use to allow vehicle and equipment sales outdoor on property zoned LC, limited commercial. The property is 4.74 acres in size and is generally located on the east side of Southeastern Avenue, south of US Highway 54-400. It is currently developed with a vacant commercial space in a parking lot.
Vehicle and equipment sales are subject to supplementary use regulations in the zoning code. In summary, vehicle and equipment sales must be contiguous to a major street. And a complete list of all the regulations is attached to the end of this, to the end of the report. So East Kellogg Drive is classified as a local street. And the East Kellogg Ramp is also classified as a local street. So in this case, the applicant is requiring a waiver of that supplementary use regulation from the zoning code, which requires them to be contiguous to a major street. Should the conditional use request be approved, the applicant would need to comply with all the other requirements. As far as parking goes, bear with me on this one, it's a lot. The UZC requires 1 parking space per 500 square feet of building area, plus 2 spaces for the first 10,000 square feet of lot area used for sales or storage purposes, plus 1 space for each 10,000 square feet of lot area used for sales, display, or storage purposes thereafter. So the applicant intends to repurpose the existing 39,000 square foot building, which would require 79 parking spaces. According to the site plan, the parking lot north of the building would be used for sales and display, which is about 65,000 square feet. So this would require an additional 8 parking spaces for a total of 87. And the previous use of the site was retail general, which required 118 parking spaces. But the existing site has sufficient parking, and the southern half of the site's parking lot would be allocated for customer and employee parking. Because the property abuts residential zoning, SF5 to the west and B multifamily to the south, the owner would be required to have screening and landscaping per the UZC and the landscape code. Solid screening is required where the property abuts residential zoning, and the existing site has a solid masonry screening on the south side and portions of the west side. The applicant would be required to submit a landscape plan to confirm the existing trees meet the landscape requirements. And the site parking lot also has green areas reserved for parking lot landscaping. If we can scroll down to the zoning map. Thank you, Teresa. I always appreciate your help. Character of the neighborhood is very much commercial along East Kellogg Drive, and property to the north across the highway is zoned LC and is developed with small vacant commercial buildings. Property to the south is zoned B and is developed with an apartment complex. Property to the east is zoned GC, general commercial, and is developed with a car dealership. Properties to the west are zoned SF5 and are developed with single family dwellings. Within 2 blocks of the subject site, there are 3 additional vehicle sales businesses. And so the applicant's request is not new to the area. As far as case history goes, in 1996, the property was platted as part of the Circuit City Edition. In 2020, the site was granted a variance to increase the height of a sign from 25 feet to 45 feet with a 300 square foot LED sign. As far as public services go, the site has access to East Kellogg Street, which is a one-way local street. The site has access to all municipal services. Wichita Transit does provide service 1/2 mile northwest of the site on East Kellogg Street near the Best Western Inn East. As far as plans and policies, the conditional use is in partial conformance to the map. The map identifies the area in which the site is located to be appropriate for industrial uses. The requested use is commercial in nature, which is less intense than what the plan recommends and is appropriate given the proximity to commercial and residential uses. As far as locational guidelines, the general development pattern recommends that primary outdoor sales should be located along highway corridors or in areas where they have already been established, and this meets that guideline. Staff does recommend that the conditional use and the supplementary use regulation waiver be approved, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report. And I can stand for, oh, let's go to the site fix. I always forget that. So this is looking east into the site, looking south into the site, or away from the site, looking west away from the site, and looking north away from the site. And then these are looking south into the site and looking east away from the site. And with that, I can stand for any questions.
Any questions for Brett? Great job, Brett.
All
And
I wanted to do is. I'm,
They want to do outdoor vehicle sales, yeah. Car lot.
Which is less than what it's a.
Which is what it is now.
so, that neighborhood struggles a lot. Are they going to increase? You said they're submitting a plan, so we don't know what they're doing around the property, but like, because there is an apartment complex
Yeah.
right next to it.
They'll have to submit a landscape plan to make sure that what is there is appropriate. And if it's not, they'll have to comply with the Wichita landscape code.
Okay, because it's meager, so I'm glad they're submitting.
Yeah. And the agent is here as well, so he can also answer.
Any questions? Does the agent want to make comments or
We concur with staff. If you have any questions, be glad to answer.
for being here? All right, bring it back to District Advisory Board. Any further questions or ready for action?
Yeah. And I've been conspicuously quiet sitting on this place.
Would you like that reflected in the minutes?
Yes, please.
Tim has been
Conspicuously. I'd make a recommendation to approve staff's recommendation. To approve this request.
So Tracy, just in case you couldn't hear, because Tim was kind of soft spoken, he makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Jim, second, you're in the game tonight. Any further questions?
Did you make a statement whether you received anything?
I did, yeah. I have.
Say it a little louder.
Sure, I've had no ex parte communication with the residents, the applicant, or the agent.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, before we vote, and we didn't get any complaints.
So this is not my case. I honestly don't know if we received any public comments on this one. I should have checked, but it was a busy afternoon in the planning department and I didn't get a chance to, so I
And was this one
apologize.
down to?
I was told there were no opposition.
Yeah, and it went to MAPC on the 23rd of October.
Then I'm
And,
good.
and I've received no emails, calls, anything from anybody.
It certainly is not a major change, it's what's already there, right?
And the staff report was approved by MAPC as.
As is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion, second, any further discussion? Call the vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So it looks like it's a 10-0.
All right.
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you, Brad, thank you.
Have a good night.
For being here, Greg, appreciate it. Anything for the good of the group? Other than thank you. I know it was a long one and lots of discussion about the project I didn't expect, but it's okay. Yeah, it was good comments. I just want to say thank you to each of you. I am grateful for each of you, and Thanksgiving is coming up. I hope that you all have safe and happy times with family and friends. Thank you for serving on the district advisory board. I know this takes you potentially away from work or family or friends or faith or whatever else.
But
So
this
it's-
is sure not.
yeah, it's not lost on me. So thank you. With that, I would entertain after I make a comment. John Clary mentioned that this Saturday is the district advisory board to breakfast. So hope you can join us. Chief Snow and I are going to be talking about an initiative that I am so excited about. It started off as cancer screenings for firefighters. And now it has emerged into overall wellness for firefighters. And then we will be bringing in also a program for police. But just as a point of privilege, I know it's been a long night, but we have on any given day, 484 firefighters, depending on who's retired. When we started the pilot project and opened it up for 30 firefighters to get free cancer screenings, because it doesn't always get covered by insurance. They have to have specific screenings. Only 18 signed up, but one firefighter came and they found a mass in his lung. And because of that, he had life-saving, life-changing surgery. I'm proud to say that as of Friday, Out of the 484 firefighters, over 350 have been screened.
That's great.
We're trying, we'll never get to 100%, we know, we're gonna keep fighting. 15 firefighters have been identified. Wow. And some is skin cancer, it's not all, lung, but then in addition to that, we found cardiovascular issues, we found pre-diabetes, lots of things, so that's why this is morphing into a culture of wellness. So you can come and hear more from Tammy, and we have a testimonial from one of the firefighters who had cancer and was found in this program. He can't join us in person, but he's gonna do a video. And then after that, we're gonna hightail it here won't make it for the actual ribbon cutting, but just for the festivities here for the library. So thank you for the gentle reminder.
If I could mention, because it's Thanksgiving and also Indigenous Peoples' Day, there's a Smithsonian traveling exhibit called The Americans that will be at the Indian Center.
Oh, cool.
It'll be till like the first week of December.
Yep. And then also mention one more thing. I have put together a planning committee for Bob Layton's retirement celebration. We're doing lots of things. Not everything will happen on this day, and I'll make sure it gets out to you, but on December 11th, at the Wichita Art Museum, we're gonna have an opportunity to celebrate Bob's legacy of 47 years in public administration, specifically the last 16 years, our city manager. So you started the meeting talking about the candidates, and I appreciate that. But on December 11th, we'll have his celebration of his retirement, and it is amazing service. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved, Tracy, yay.
There we go.
Is there a second?
Right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone? Bye.
How do we?
Happy Thanksgiving, and you'll
Yep.
need to go out this
All right.
door.
The same to you.
Is there a